tracing the lessons from the hard-fought season, full of heroes honoring the game. One team's journey will end in triumph, hoisting the championship trophy. Today is the IHSA Football State Championships.
Final day of the Illinois high school football season, and we have four dandy matchups for you, starting off with Nazareth and Peoria here at Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois. And welcome to the broadcast booth alongside longtime Illinois high school football coach Jack McInerney. I'm Matt Rodewald, and this first one here, it's going to get your track shoes on, get the spikes out, because we're going to go up and down the field for quite some time.
It's going to be really interesting, Matt. You talk about starting off Saturday on the right foot. This is going to be all these feet moving at the same time. It's going to be a heck of a Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a heck of a ball game right now.
If you like onside kicks, you're going to see plenty of them today. Let's tell you how these teams got here, of course, as we start with Nazareth and how they arrived. And, of course, they were not expected to make the playoffs at 2-4. Playoffs? Are you kidding? They ran off quite the run to get to Champaign.
Well, when you're talking about the Cinderella story, ladies and gentlemen, right there, just insert Nazareth as a Cinderella story. Their first 6 games of the season, they were 2-4, but of those 6 games, 5 of those teams were playoff teams. It was a rough road to get here.
These are some football scores. Now we will show you some basketball-like scores with Peoria and the Lions. And yeah, that's 60, that's 76 on Morris and the Redskins, of course. This team likes offense. They like valuing the football and hanging on to possession football all day long.
This is one of those games where you cannot leave the TV because something's going to happen all the time. They onside kick. They make plays go all the time. They want to get off plays within 15 seconds of the ball. And so it's going to be a fast-paced game. Can Nazareth keep up with them? It's going to be interesting to find out.
Fasten your seatbelts. The youth movement of Nazareth against the back and forth, up and down of the Peoria Lions. Nazareth ready to take the field, trying to win another state championship here in Champaign. The Lions trying to do it for a second time in school history. Our Class 5A state championship matchup from Memorial Stadium is coming up next here on the IHSA Television Network.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Country Financial, proud partner of the IHSA, and by LaUna. Start your career in construction at LaUnaCareers.org.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and they care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Family dinner with kids, not easy. You know what is easy? OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Get treatment for minor illnesses and injuries in person or connect 24/7 online. OSF On-Call Urgent Care.
Ready to go here in Champaign. Matt Rodewald, Jack McInerney with you as we are set for football Nazareth will kick off, winning the toss. They chose to defer, and so Peoria will have it first. We'll see how long they have it. It's Tim Rackey, the head coach of Nazareth, and let's go to the ISU keys of the game. Create your legacy at Illinois State University, Jack.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's quite obvious that Nazareth is going to have to slow the pace of Peoria down because they are just nonstop getting to that ball. I mean, it's like hyper. They're absolutely hyper as far as getting to that ball and running plays, and they do a great job of it. And Peoria, on the other hand, is going to have to make sure that they continue that pace.
Got to look at Tim Thornton, the head coach of Peoria, and he will rely a lot on Malachi Washington. We are underway. End over end kick will be taken at the 4-yard line. The Lions will head right up the middle and taken down before getting to the 20. That looked like Ricky Hearn. You see those numbers with maroon numbers on black jerseys. It's going to be tricky for all of us to get a look at those.
You wonder whoever picked out those numbers if they ever thought someday they'd be on television.
Well, those will be outlawed by the NFHS, of course, the next couple of years. So there's a phase-out period that they're in right now. As you take a look at the starters, the offensive starters for Dominic Batista anchoring the line at 6'5", 302. A.J. Roscoe, the junior on the other end. And yes, Jaquarius Green is the freshman on that line. You see the skill position players. We can put those back up, get you those, and show you that it's all about Malachi Washington, the 5'10" senior running back. You get a look at the depth of this team, and that's Frank Odom, who's capable of running off 100 on the ground. This is how they go. They go quick. Not much time between plays, lots of tempo.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and they continue to do that. They're really good at it, keeps you in good shape. But the big thing that you got to watch is that offensive line. You and I could run behind it. They average 313 pounds. Let me repeat that. 313 pounds for a high school offensive line.
Get you the defensive starters, and we get a break. There's a first look at that Nazareth front four. Gabe Kaminsky coming in big, the 6'3" sophomore. He's been outstanding on that front four for Nazareth all season long, kind of getting his feet underneath him after a 2-4 start for Nazareth.
Well, that's crucial right there, that particular play to get them behind the chains on first down.
The starting lineup is presented by OSF. This is 3rd down and 10. They're still at the sticks. The handoff to Washington. No, check it. It's a pitch to the outside, and it's going to go nowhere. It's going to be 3 and out for Peoria. It was Tino Gist, the captain quarterback, trying to sling it to the outside. They're going to call it incomplete now. TQ Webb did not get to it.
It's a combination here of an athlete trying to make a play happen. He kind of stumbles around. That's a forward pass, basically. Some might think it's a pitch, but it was not because it went forward, even though it went underhand.
That was Kenny Rutherford. You see number 10 there taking the snap. And a quick hit on the punt. And that's going to roll harmlessly at the 32-yard line and go inside the 30. And that is where Nazareth and the Roadrunners will start. State champions in 2014 here in Champaign. Did it again in 2015 at Northern. And in 7A in 2018, you see Logan Malachuk, a sophomore quarterback. He started as a freshman for Nazareth. And when you go through the schedules, you see the lineups with Aaron Bustamante anchoring the left side. Sam Steck, the right guard as well for Nazareth up front. The 6'1", 250-pound sophomore. They are big up front for Nazareth.
Well, actually, you'll be able to take your breath, get a little bit of breath when you see Nazareth on offense, because they don't run the same pace that Peoria does. But it's really a young team. But that first stop in that first series was really important for Nazareth.
Here's Justin Taylor, end around. He's a two-way guy. You'll see him on both sides of the ball, heading to Wisconsin next year to play defense for the Badgers. He gets about 9 on his first carry.
You know, Matt, one of the things that we cannot emphasize too much is strength of schedule. And Nazareth certainly has had strength of schedule. Those first games that we talked about in the Open, they played all those playoff teams. And at that time, they were really a very young team. They still are. But they've won 7 straight coming into this ball game.
Kankakee, Lamont, Marist, Notre Dame, Carmel, St. Rita, they all made the postseason, many of them winning games in opening rounds. And Justin Taylor could not come up with it. He had room to run if he could turn the corner, but dropped it. take a look at the Peoria defense. Tawan Smith, the 5'10", 184-pound senior up front, along with Patrick Jordan, the defensive lineman, the junior. It's a young group up front for sure. The linebackers, Caleb Lawson, you'll see a lot of Rontavis Lee. Of course, Rutherford with 3 interceptions on the season. And the defensive backfield, including Kenny Rutherford with 2 picks, including last week an interception return for a touchdown against Morris. To really turn the tide in that one, make Morris have to do some chasing down in Peoria the rest of the way. 3rd down and 1 for Nazareth. Carry to the right side. 1st down pickup. And that's Ethan Enriquez who will do the honors, move the chains. 1st down.
Well, this is exactly what Nazareth wants to do. They want to make sure that they formation Peoria out of the comfort zone defensively, because as you can see, they get right up in your face initially. So Nazareth is going to formation pull some of those players out physically just by the formations and try and get outside.
They'll go from the 41. Malachuk to throw. Single coverage. Taylor couldn't get free, and that's why penalty flags come out for pass interference. They're going to get Kenny Rutherford with it. And, you know, there are times, you've talked about this yesterday, there are times when there are good penalties, there are times when there are bad penalties. He catches that, he's running for 6.
There was no doubt about it. I don't think that was an intentional penalty on the defender's part, but I'll tell you what, it was a good job by the quarterback because he knew he had man coverage. So he underthrows it and the receiver comes back, bangs into the defender. It's a interference call.
That's Dennis Doyle, our referee. Get to him in a minute. First, the replay on this.
Tough play for a right-handed quarterback going to his left. You can see he never got his shoulders around. He basically threw it up for grabs, and it turned out to be a penalty, which resulted in a good play for Nazareth and a 1st down at midfield.
Dennis Doyle, the Joliet Junior College professor, so we'll call him Professor Doyle. He is the president, I get this right, the president of the South Suburban Civil War Roundtable. So, Mr. McInerney, if you want to have a conversation about Gettysburg with Mr. Doyle down there, I think he may run circles around you in that conversation.
Sure he would.
We always love our officials, the rest of the crew, just so we can introduce them. Richard Smith from Dyer, Indiana, Jack Jones from Williams Bay, Wisconsin, David Carpio from Palos Heights, and Derek D'Alessandro from Orland Park. We always appreciate our officials, and again, they earned this honor to get to the state championship game, and so congratulations to them and their families for all the hard work to get here.
This is such a young Nazareth team, as we talked about before. They've got 4 sophomores starting on offense in a state championship game, and that's just really amazing. And they actually have 3 starting on defense. So this is a young team playing against a very veteran Peoria team.
Malachuk to throw, just a little high. Tried to get it to Jimmy Penley, and he could not come down with it.
That almost looked like a Canadian football. He went in motion. He sure looked like he was turning upfield awful quick.
This is going to set up 3rd down and 8. And they're at the 42-yard line.
Good shot at Tim Rackey right there. Has done a great job at Nazareth building the program. He was formerly at Driscoll, where he won, I think it was 4 state championships in a row. And then he came over to Nazareth and has built the program up and has won the state championship here with Nazareth.
That was at a time where they were winning 7 straight state championships, unheard of. That one caught by Taylor for a moment and knocked away at the last second. Give credit to Eli McFadden, the senior, who came roaring in and stuck with the play. It brings up 4th down.
That was a catch right up until the hit. And it was a good violent hit which knocked the ball out, because that was going to be a big 1st down for Nazareth. You can see how fast he closes right here. Watch him come right in. That's the safety. Bang, right on the ball. Good timing. Big play right there for Peoria.
Taylor tried to pull it away, doing the right thing to pull it away from him. And McFadden guessed right to go to that backside. So this is fake punt territory. Keep an eye on this one. And they're going to go to the corner and kick essentially right out of bounds. That was Zach Hayes doing the punting duties. We're going to take a timeout. Peoria with 1 possession in and out. We'll see if they can stay on the field. The Lions offense is yet to roar here in Champaign. A couple minutes in here on our Class 5A state championship game.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you predict the future? You create it. You build a foundation, pave a path forward, soak up the journey, and turn experiences into something life-changing. At Illinois State University, we deliver on what every college should promise you: the opportunity and tools to write your legacy every day. The rest is up to you. What will you create? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by ISU. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
We always like to find out how they get here. Of course, LaGrange Park in the southwest suburbs. That's straight down I-57. Watch out for Officer Friendly on your way down here, of course. And then Peoria High School heading over from Peoria to Champaign. Just a hop, skip, and a jump through central Illinois. And, of course, how these teams get here. 10 a.m. start makes it a little early for these two teams. They got here last night, got settled in, and got ready to go for today. These two coaches, football players, creatures of habit, Coach. They got to have all their routine. This is a tough start at 10 a.m.
Well, it really is. But you know what? Coach Racky and, of course, Coach Thornton, they both had their kid practicing at 10 o'clock during the week to get used to this routine.
And a flare out to the left side and driven out of bounds. That's a catch for TQ Webb. You see, there's Taylor playing defense. Justin Taylor heading to Wisconsin. And we talked to Tim Racky this week about his ability. There have been some star athletes to come through Nazareth, whether it's Julian Love playing defensive in the backfield for the New York Giants, and then Ivory Kelly Martin, who started Iowa for a little bit. Says he's kind of a hybrid of those guys, but there's a leadership quality there that's fascinating when you hear about Justin Taylor.
There's no doubt about it. When you talk about a team that's as young as Nazareth is, with all those sophomores in the lineup, and you've got a veteran like him who shows leadership both on the field and in the locker room.
3rd down and 5. They pick up the first down. It's Washington on the run. Malachi Washington, 3,000 yards on the season, 47 touchdowns. But last week running all over Morris with 383 yards on the ground. We've seen some huge numbers rushing this in these playoffs, or in all classes. 1st and 10. Washington again. And maybe a yard. The difference of 2016, Jack, when you talk about this Peoria offense, a little more fun and gun throwing around. It's more run heavy this time around.
Well, the thing is, you got to go with the times, but the other part of it is you go with the athletes that you have. And if you don't have kids or linemen, for example, that can run block or pass block, but you got athletes, let's get them the ball. And that's one of the reasons for the faster pace.
The 6th run, actually the 7th run of the morning so far, driven back, and Nazareth seems to be up for the task. They've been in the backfield quite a bit early on. See the stop there by Jaden Fauski coming in from the safety spot, and they're not afraid to fly up a little bit.
Well, they're a young team. They're very aggressive. Tim Racky's been here 5 times in the state championship game with Nazareth alone.
This is another long 3rd down, looking to throw, and it is caught. And it is short of the 1st down. They get it to Webb, but that pass, that's just on the throw, and it's going to be short. It will bring up 4th down, but they're going to go for it.
Well, you can see he does a nice job of throwing on the run, and the receiver coming back for the football. That's crucial, is coming back to the ball.
2 receivers to the top, and they give to Malachi. Up ahead, big hole right up the middle of the field, running through tacklers and getting inside the 35-yard line. The first big run of the day for Malachi Washington.
And these are expectations that they have for the running game to get in behind that big offensive line. They're going to say, you know, right now you cannot stop us up front. And you look at the matchup right there with Nazareth. They run that 3-4. They've only got 3 defensive linemen there against those 5 300-pounders.
20 yards in the pickup. Washington again driving inside the 22. Maybe another 10 or 11 yards as they move the chains again.
This is the tempo that they want right now. They get you reeling. They got you on your heels. And so they want to keep pounding the ball at you.
It's not flashy. It's just quick. And they're going to keep that pace up. That's Landon Newley-Holsom, the fullback, leading the way for Washington on the right side this time. They get down to the 15. And coming up to make the tackle is Enriquez.
Well, sometimes when you have a team like this, how much depth does that defense have to continue the pace to stay with these people?
You saw Odom has to come out. Now it's, or rather, Washington, and Odom's in there. So they get inside the 10-yard line. Another first down. It's their 3rd or 4th first down in this drive.
There's 2 aspects that you have to have when you run an offense like Peoria. You have to have either depth or you have to have great conditioned athletes.
Power pistol to Odom. And he gets down to the 5-yard line. This is Brendan Flanagan, his first tackle of the morning. This will be the 12th play of this drive. It took them 1 drive to get going, but here they are. They're going. Power pistol again. Odom gets the carry. Breaks to the left side and stopped. And that's LeSroy Tittle, the freshman, 6'2", 195 pounds. And we see a lot of freshmen in the smaller classes, 1A, 2A, just because of depth. When you see him at this level, it means that there's a special athlete.
No doubt about it. And they've got, you know, a couple of freshmen, but they've got a handful of sophomores. That really tells you about the talent level that Nazareth has and the future that Nazareth has.
4-down territory, 3rd and goal. Malachi stopped in the backfield and met and driven back. That's Gabe Kaminsky that says no way. Coming in to help was Zach Hayes, a loss of 3.
That's a big defensive play right there for Nazareth. You can see he really just kind of swims past the offensive lineman and makes the play in penetration in the backfield. Sometimes that the defensive front can outquick those big fellas that are up front on the offensive line.
4th down and goal from the 5. Power left. It's Washington to the goal line. And he gets in for the touchdown. Peoria strikes first. The Lions punch it in from 5 yards out. And they take the lead early on here in our Class 5A state championship game.
This is a good job of bouncing it outside. You can see it's just a stretch to the outside. He finds the seam up inside and turns it up. And this is exactly what you want to do when you have an outside stretch out of that particular formation. Find the seam and turn it upfield, and that's what he did to get into the end zone.
They will go for 2. Just the throw, end zone caught, and the conversion is good to TQ Webb. We'll take a timeout. Peoria draws blood first with an 8-0 lead. 3:37 to go in our opening quarter as we get set for a long day of fabulous football here in Champaign. Timeout.
Behind every Delta Dental of Illinois dental plan, you'll find members happy to know they can trust the tooth. To help them save money on dental care, find a dental plan that fits you. Get affordable coverage today. Behind every Delta Dental of Illinois dental plan, you'll find people smiling because they know they can trust the tooth to protect and take care of their smiles. Find a dental plan that fits you. Get dental. It's essential.
Malachi Washington with 8 runs on that 14-play drive. And they passed it a couple times. Perfect, 2 for 2. An 8-0 lead for Peoria here in our opening quarter. Matt Rodewald, Jack McInerney with you here. So glad you're with us here in Champaign. Tim Rackey's got to go to work and get this defense to not only settle down, but it's just a long, methodical drive they had to deal with there.
Well, you got to get these young kids to relax a little bit. Now you're going to see something quite unique, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see somebody that on kicks after every score.
Here we go. First one, and it's going to roll out of bounds, and so good field position for Nazareth. 0 for 1.
Well,
watch this drive again here, Jack.
Well, this first drive.
What we saw here, because it's a lot of Malachi and a lot of him all the time.
Well, this is what they want to do. They want to keep the pace. And, of course, after they score, we mentioned that they do the onside kick. But what that does is give great field position to the opposing team. And Nazareth has that right now. Here's the drive right now. I mean, gets the ball outside to a good athlete. And Nazareth does a nice job of stifling that. But then right here, throwing the ball on the run, good reception, keeps the drive alive with a big first down. And that's so darn important. And, of course, now we start running the ball with Washington. Great power, getting the ball up the field. Takes 3-4 players to bring them down. And here's your touchdown run. He comes back, cuts back up inside, touchdown. And that gets Peoria back where they want to be, on a roll.
They called an illegal procedure on that kick. What's the counter move on that? From a coaching stand, do you decline it, make them kick again in some sense? Or do you just take the field
for example, Matt, that they're going to continue to do that every time. They kick onside after every score, whether it be a field goal, touchdown, whatever. They're onside kicking all the time.
You know the percentages are low. They're getting lower just because of the way that the rules have changed to allow, more spread out. It's for safety purposes. Here's Taylor on the end around. He's got room if he can get to the corner. He'll get close to the first down marker before being pushed out of bounds.
From a coaching standpoint, I have difficulty understanding that because I don't want to give my opponent field position and good field position on every single play or change of possession, and that's what they do. They must have great faith in their defense, but also they've got great faith in their offense that they're going to score a lot of points.
What's the old phrase? No risk it, no biscuit. We used to hear that.
Yeah.
9 yards on the pickup there, but great risk, great reward. But that's the counter of it. And we talked to Tim Rackey about it during the week. See, Roadrunners will pick up the first down there. He admires it a little bit and said, I just don't have the guts to do it. I would think about it, but man, I credit Tim Thornton for doing it.
Well, I don't think that Tim Rackey could get away with it playing the schedule that he played. Yeah. I mean, there'd be some astronomical scores there because those people would be taking advantage of the field position he'd be giving them.
Probably some truth to that. If you want to hand Mount Carmel, St. Rita, or Marist 40 yards of field position, some people might have some things to say about that. First down and 10. Malachuk to throw. Single coverage on the right side. It is caught. And spinning inside the 5-yard line, it's Penley for the big play. The sophomore coming up with the big catch. And it's first and goal for Nazareth.
What a great throw. And that was just strictly a go route. And he's going to beat that defender. Excellent throw. Never break stride, on the money. Coverage was about a yard off. And that's a great move for Nazareth right there. That's what they need, a big play.
That was for 39 yards, and it puts the Roadrunners in business. Offset. That's Justin Taylor, number 2 to the left. They'll give to the up back, powering through and getting towards the goal line. Still short for Brendan Flanagan, the lineman coming in to play fullback on that one.
Peoria does so many unusual things. We talked about this before, Matt, in some of our meetings. Not only the onside kick, but some of the ways they line up defensively. I mean, they just get everybody, 11 guys on the line of scrimmage, and they'll only split out if you split out. Otherwise, you can see right now, I mean, they're compact in there.
And in motion again. They'll give to Taylor. Cuts inside. Can't get back to the 1-yard line. And it brings up third down and goal for the 1.
I don't know that Nazareth has the manpower to be able to move them physically up front. You can see they pull the left tackle to get out in front of them, but there's just too much penetration by the defensive line of Peoria. Smith, Jordan, and Roberts, and Newly Wholesome. They're just big kids coming across. They're not as big as the offensive line of Peoria, but they're good, tough defensive players.
Where you watch for Zach Hayes or Jimmy Penley, they spread them out to the left. Trips left side. That's Taylor up to the right. Hayes in motion. Malachuk looking, running, throwing, caught, touchdown. Nazareth gets it on 3rd down. And the touchdown for number 12, Edward McLean Jr. That is a freshman scoring a touchdown in a state championship game.
Well, and that's just an outstanding play call right there, because on the first 2 calls, they ran power up inside and they knew that they couldn't move him. So what they did then is they came back and they formationed him. That spread them out, and then they basically ran a pick route on the goal line where the outside guy comes in, takes a defensive player, and the inside guy gets out in the flat touchdown. Well-designed play by Nazareth.
About as well executed as you'll see at this level. And so they'll go for 2. They'll move it to the left hash.
Now, again, you can see how they're spreading them out, forcing them out of that defensive look that they'd like to be in.
Trips right, Taylor to the left. They flip the formation, basically. Here's Hayes in motion. Malachuk will throw to Hayes, and he'll walk into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Really nice design plays, flare-out plays for Nazareth to get 8 points and even our score.
And both of those plays are basically designed for the red zone. You can see right now he's coming to the left, and it's just a pick play. He gets out in the flat. What he does is he just outraces his defender who's on his inside. You can see right there. He's got position on him. And all they did on the extra point was basically the same play, but in a different direction.
They used Hayes, the motion man, to kind of draw the defender in.
They want to get him out
tied at 8. That's a 6-play drive, about 2:13 taken off the clock on that.
What they want to do is get Peoria out of their comfort zone defensively. And Peoria is pretty cocky. You know, we talked about this before.
There's a swagger to it, yes.
Well, there's a swagger. Maybe that's a better term. You know, my vocabulary is quite limited. But, you know, and this is what Coach Racky wanted to do. He wanted to get them out of that comfort zone, both offensively and defensively.
And it's to the point where we now feel like we have to watch every kick with great interest. Just because of what Peoria does, will Racky try and...
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I certainly am curious.
I don't think so. I don't think he
This is Zach
can
Hayes.
afford to give up that field position, man.
He may not do that, and he will send a line drive pretty deep into the end zone. When you have that, there's no point. Yeah, absolutely. That's a weapon, too. And so that'll be 1st and 10 at the 20.
Can you imagine, though, being a kicker at Peoria? Why would you want to be a kicker at Peoria? Everything is onside.
Bring your tablet to practice. Bring your laptop.
I mean,
you can get some things done for 2 hours.
Kid could be a great kicker, but you know, what are you going to send out as film? I can only kick it 10 yards.
Imagine that's a very short huddle playlist. Everyone's got their highlight reel nowadays. And let's see how Peoria answers here. And let's see what kind of adjustments from the Roadrunners defense. It's just barking out signals. It goes pistol with Washington behind him and taken down right at the line of scrimmage. And rolling in there to make the stop, maybe a gain of a yard.
I think what's going on with Nazareth is they want to outquick the size of that offensive line of Peoria. And what I mean by that is if they take big splits, they could just outquick them and get in the gaps and make that penetration, because physically they're not going to match up with them.
That was Braden Ferguson on the tackle. They go power pistol this time. Washington cuts away from it, gets to about the 30-yard line. And that will move the chains for a 1st down. Washington's not very big in terms of height, 5'10", but you can see all 206, a bowling ball going downhill. He's a physical kid. He's tough to stop. And he's described by Tim Thornton as a bit of a monster. And you can see he likes the weight room. It's one of those guys that he's living in the weight room.
Well, he carries the ball 27 times a game over the course of this 13 games that they've had. He's carried the ball on average 27 times, and he averages 235 yards a game.
Might be the final play of our first quarter. Gist will throw down the right side, and it is in and out of the hands of Ricky Hearn, who had a chance at it. And we'll do presumably one more here in quarter number 1.
That was a great defensive play right there. He stayed on his hip the whole time and didn't turn until the receiver started putting his hands up. Look down the field. He'll make the turn at the last second. And that's just great defensive back work.
That's Jimmy Penley on the stop. And the penetration by Nazareth again. That's Gabe Kaminsky. You're going to see him a lot in there. Already seen him a couple of times. And that is how our first quarter comes to an end. So a big third down coming up for Peoria when we return. 1 touchdown on 2 possessions. They're in possession number 3. See if they can get some more points on the board. You're watching the IHSA Television Network. We are tied as we are getting ready for quarter number 2 here in Champaign. Matt Rodewald, Jack McInerney in the booth. Let's send it downstairs to the third member of our broadcast team, Darius Joshua. Darius?
Yeah, guys, we saw in that last drive that Malachi Washington certainly can mow through defenses, but that's not all he does. He also mows lawns. During the season and in the offseason as well, he works with Brian Schrader in Lawn Masters, doing about 20 to 25 lawns a day. And then also, after getting that work done on the lawns, he does little push-ups, of course, to stay ready for football as well out there. And talking to Brian Schrader about Malachi, he said he's one of the best employees he's ever had. He wishes that he had more Malachis out there to get more lawns done. He says that if he had to give the business to anyone, he could give it to Malachi and feel confident that he'd run it just like him. And if you imagine how great he'd be at getting lawns with that many guys out there, imagine how dangerous Peoria would be if they had multiple Malachis on the field as well. Back to you guys.
Darius, thank you. Jack, I charged $20 a lawn back in the day for me. But It was push behind. That's a high rate, you think? Hey, inflation. We're in the era of inflation now, so that's probably close to 50 at this point. Screen opportunity on third down, and it's poked away. I think it was Brady Gorman that got a hand on that one. But Tim Thornton talks about how he loves the weight room. He says, yep, on state championship Saturday, he's probably going to get a workout in about 5 a.m. this morning.
Well, when you have a dedicated athlete like that, that's one of the reasons why he carries the ball 27 times. He's probably in the huddle saying, give me the ball. And he comes to the halftime and he tells coach, look, I only carried the ball 20 times in that first half.
on 4th down and 10 from their own 32, and it's poked away, and a flag comes out late.
Part of that
with
was
the deflection on that, and we'll see what the flag is.
Exactly. I saw that deflection too.
And watch it again.
It's a deflection.
Yep, just on the
right there.
Oh, that tip. It was tipped first, and I don't think that was recognized.
Play. We did have a flag on the field.
And they wave
it
off.
The ball was tipped. Therefore, no foul.
Outstanding officiating.
Absolutely.
That is outstanding. And the foul is right if it's not a deflection, but the official, you can see on the far side judge was not looking at it. Watch it again.
Right there, number 7 jumps.
Hayes with the deflection right there.
There's a deflection right there. So there's no interference. Of course, that official right there didn't see the deflection. So a great job by those officials conferring and changing that ruling.
Some official, and there's a late either of that we have a flag on the field. I don't think it was picked up. Hold on a second.
Too many
we have
people
a call.
Too many guys in the huddle. Illegal substitution.
We have a dead ball. Illegal substitution.
You're right. Yep.
12 on the field.
Yep.
Beyond 3 seconds. Against the offense.
That hurts.
And so on the quick change, and that hurts a little bit. So Nazareth will take over instead. They're at the Lions 32. They'll get it at the 37-yard line. Look at the defense for Nazareth real quick. Mentioned Kaminsky's name a couple of times, and Brady Gorman there as well. Tittle, the freshman, and Ethan Enriquez, who's been in on a couple of stops so far. And obviously Justin Taylor and the Zach Hayes two-way stardom. Both of those guys on the field, they don't come off. So that's your Nazareth defense, and starters presented by OSF.
Well, in a game like this, when you're playing a fast-paced team like Peoria, those kids really have to be conditioned. And depth obviously is a factor for Nazareth.
Second down and 14, so the penalty backed them up behind the sticks to about 1st and 15, and that clock continues to run. That's not a bad thing for Nazareth right now here in a tie score. So the run game's working for both here. Split formation. Here's Taylor going to the left side. He can get down the sidelines to the first down marker at the 20 before being driven out of bounds. And that was Eli McFadden on the stop. 14-yard pickup.
This is when they're most effective, getting to the outside and outrunning that size of Peoria. They do a nice job of getting to the edge, and the outside wide receivers do a great job of downfield blocking.
Prior to that, both teams averaging about 4 yards a carry. That'll bump the average up a little bit for Nazareth, but one would say that's low for Peoria standards, maybe a little higher for Nazareth standards. You do four yards a carry, you're getting first downs every time. Malachuk to throw, left side, and a little long for Justin Taylor, who is trying to break free of McFadden in the end zone. It'll bring up second down.
And you're going to see this most of the afternoon because Peoria likes to run man coverage on those outside receivers, and so it's just a matchup. Is my wide receiver going to outrun your defender? Is my quarterback going to put the ball on the money with that tight coverage? And so you're going to see more of those kind of passes throughout the afternoon here with Nazareth Academy.
Malachuk 2 of 6 so far. The one thing that Tim Rackey talks about with Malachuk, yes, he's young, but he noted to it, he's really good with RPO. With a run-pass option, he really understands how to read that end crashing down. Here's the end around for Fauski, and he'll get about 5. Jaden Fauski, the sophomore, who's a better baseball player, looking hard at Louisville. He's playing a Power 5 school.
Good job of down blocking right here. And you can see the wide receiver trying to sustain his block right there. And that's really a tough block for any wide receiver. When you got a block on the edge like that, just isolated with a defensive back.
Yeah, Enriquez couldn't really turn a corner, and it forced Fauski to have to make a decision. Here's the Taylor end around to the right side. They go edge to edge, and he gets to about the 13-yard line. They're going to be about a half a yard short of the first down.
It's going to be interesting to see how Peoria matches up with Justin Taylor, because he's obviously the workhorse for Nazareth. So what you're going to see there when they do that man coverage, when he goes in motion, that cornerback is going to keep an eye on him, but the safety is going to go with him. So you're going to have basically two guys on Justin Taylor because he's really the big threat for Nazareth.
They bring in McLean, who caught the touchdown on 4th down and 1. They spread him out wide again. Taylor, single side, right side. Hayes in motion. Malachuk to throw. Here's McLean again, caught in the first down. It's the same play for the touchdown, and he gets within 5 of the goal line again. 8 yards in the pickup.
That's a tough play for any defensive back because that wide receiver is coming down inside. You can see everybody right there. It's basically what we call a pick play. It starts out looking like a little sprint out. Those wide receivers come down and they basically pick off the defenders and allow that back to get out in the flat. Sometimes that's caught and called illegally, and it occasionally can be an illegal play.
Malachuk, right side, and that one is deflected and incomplete. Casey Moran, the offensive coordinator for Nazareth. Yeah, I saved some old notes from maybe 8 years ago, and he said Tim Rackey's told me in 2014 he's grown as an offensive coordinator. I think we've seen that growth progress into, and we have a roughing the passer penalty that came in here, as you see. That's going to go half the distance, and more importantly, add a first down to it. But you know, he talks about the wide variety of formations, and we've seen it so far where it's been a little bit of pistol, a little bit of spread out as well.
Well, I always find it interesting in high school football when the ball is, for example, like right now on a 2-yard line, and they stay in the spread formation. Because in reality, to me, it's not 2 yards from the end zone. It's 5 or 6 yards because that's where the quarterback is. And it's a longer block for the offensive line to sustain because that back's got further to go.
It's always easier to run a spread in a wide field, but
now he's coming up the quarterback. I like this on the goal line.
Malachuk under center. He'll hand to Taylor. Pushing and barreling and getting his way into the end zone. Taylor with the touchdown for Nazareth. And the Roadrunners take the lead.
Well, occasionally, Matt, we talk about penalties. You know, what type of penalty is it and where does it occur? You know, you have your offensive pre-snap penalties, and right here, good job by that offensive line. I mean, let's give them some credit. They've done a great job right there. Bustamante and O'Gorman and Barnes and Steck and Berthy. That's a great job up there. They're only 253 pounds as opposed to the offensive line of Peoria that's over 300, but they certainly did the job there.
Zach Hayes will attempt the extra point. Snap was down and the kick on its way, and it is no trouble at all. Nazareth behind Justin Taylor's 12th touchdown of the year, taking the lead here midway through the second quarter. The Roadrunners out in front here in Champaign. You're watching the IHSA Class 5A State Championship on the IHSA Television Network. .9:05 remaining in half number one. Matt Rodewald, Jack McInerney, Darius Joshua on the field. We're so glad you're with us here on this Saturday morning. A long day of great football. Had a good day of football yesterday. How about our 2A game that we had between St. Teresa and Tri-Valley? Down to the last second, the last play.
A proverbial nail biter.
Absolutely. See Tim Thornton there. They've been in very many nail biters this year for Peoria.
And of course, in that game yesterday, when you see a coach rolling on the ground after a play, he was so excited. It was so close. It was such an incredible, almost comeback.
And it was our pleasure to watch Josh Roop coach because he put all of himself into it each and every play. Hayes on the kickoff. It is going to sail end over end and be touched before landing in the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback. Of course, our winners yesterday, Lena Winslow, again, third straight time for them. And we saw St. Teresa hold on for dear life at the end. IC Catholic, boy, Williamsville had a great start, and IC Catholic said, yeah, that's nice. We're going to go run away from you. And obviously the way it ends for SHG and Sacred Heart Griffith, the storybook end for the Cyclones and for Ken Leonard, the retiring legend who goes out on top. And kudos to him and the Leonard family. We obviously on the broadcast last night, as you saw with Dave and Mark, outstanding tributes as we looked back and look forward to the Leonard family and their legacy here in Champaign at the state level as well. And Malachi Washington goes back to work. Is there anything that stuck out yesterday just from the whole slate, from what you saw, both the games we did and the games we watched?
I tell you what, when I do games during the regular season, nothing compares to the playoff system. Nothing compares to the state championship weekend. It's just so darn exciting. Now you can talk about all the college bowls and everything else, but these kids, you're talking about 16 and 17-year-old kids, they're going to have these memories for the next 25, 30 years. It's just so exciting, and especially these communities that are involved. I mean, it's just a great weekend.
Isn't lost on us very much, and we have to remind ourselves, a lot of the kids on our field will never put pads on ever again. 2 of 6 on third down for Peoria, and they went for it in fourth down at their own 32 last time. Will they do that again if they have to? Flare out to the right.
Wow.
How about that tackle by Jimmy Penley coming up and making the stick to force fourth down.
That was a great defensive play. And I'll tell you, the game plan defensively that Nazareth has. I mean, here's the corner. He races right by the blocker, and the reason he was able to do that is because he knew the safety was going to come over the top and help out if his receiver burst down the field. So, I mean, that's just great coaching. It's a great scheme that they have.
Quick kick this time. The second time they've had to do that. Nobody back deep to run it. And so it will roll and roll and roll a little more. Down at the 32-yard line. Pretty decent punt of 42 yards for Peoria. Nazareth's defense, Keith Lukes, the defensive coordinator. Tim Rackey talked about being a blitzing guy when he was coaching defense. Not so much anymore because of what his assistants want to do.
Well, the other part of that is that can lead to a big play. It can lead to a big play as far as a sack, yes, but it can also lead to a big play down the field where they have a long pass play for a touchdown or a long gainer. So sometimes you kind of give up what you like to do to be a little more sound with the personnel that you have.
Be first down for Nazareth again at their own 32. Pretty even in terms of total yards, 105 to 104. Plays are different. Peoria's run more. And here's McLean trying to find a seam to cut in, and he'll pick up about 3 or 4. You go back to that drive from Nazareth, and they got it at the Lions 32, so short field. But I thought 7 plays, churned up still 2.5 minutes. That's a lot of time in the scheme of things. They're able to handle the ball and possess it and kind of keep away a little bit, even with the short field.
Well, and of course, that's what they want to do. When you think about a team that wants to run a play every 10 seconds, you want to just slow the clock down. You want to take the clock and milk it down to probably about 5 seconds left in the snap count. You want to move those chains, keep the ball away from them. It's not a team that doesn't score a lot of points. I mean, Peoria averages close to 50 points a game.
Here's Taylor, left side. Block in front of him, gets inside, and gets out to the 40-yard line. And a pickup of 5. They'll have a short 3rd down and 2. How do you find a way in this day and age of tempo where you got to go quick, to slow it down without losing the rhythm? It's got to be probably the hardest part to tell 16 and 17-year-olds to hold on a second when they see the other side going just as fast.
Well, you know what's interesting? The week of practice for the team that has to play against the team that runs this kind of pace. I mean, you cannot just in practice have your kids get out there and run the same pace that you're going to see in a game. It doesn't happen.
3 receivers split out wide. Taylor stopped before the line of scrimmage. It will be short of the first down.
Big stop.
And that was Enriquez, rather, not Taylor. Taylor was out split to the right. And how will they handle this? Let's watch it again.
Big stop right here. He tries to bounce it outside, but he had great penetration right there. And that's what resulted in the loss. And that's the kind of play in a state championship game that'll come back to haunt you when you look at the film on Monday. That one play where he got penetration stopped us from picking up a first down to keep a drive alive.
Kevin Roberts on the stop. They're going to go for it on 4th down from their own 40.
They're going to get it.
And they're going to get it.
Types of penalties, man. I talk about this all the time, and that's a perfect one right there.
We have a dead ball.
It's you don't run a play. Coaches don't get
on the defense
real upset about a penalty that occurs during action, but they get very upset about pre-snap penalties. A false start, a delay of the game, illegal shifts or motion, illegal formation. Those aren't good penalties. And that certainly was not a good penalty right there, which kept the drive alive.
The idea of effort penalties versus pre-snap penalties.
Plus, those defensive linemen, they're not offensive linemen. They shouldn't be listening to the snap count. Watch the ball.
Watch the ball. Malachuk, he'll throw it. Left side, looking to get free, and it's Penley again, but he cannot hang on. So Jimmy Penley had to come back for it a little bit.
Well, Malachuk had a lot of pressure right there. He threw that ball on his heels, kind of going away. That's why he didn't get anything on the ball. You can see the pressure. He's kind of off balance throwing the football even to get it that far.
They're going to split out 3 wide to the left, and they're going to bunch it up this time. It's Fauski on the far side now in motion, cutting across. Malachuk to throw, rolling right. Open man, and it's caught
short,
just on the other side of the 50-yard line. It's going to be about 4 yards short of the first down. Safowski with the catch. He's got to fix the shoulder pad there.
Here's a situation that it's tough for a coach and for a player. He makes a great catch, but the problem is I want him to make a great catch and be able to have a yak. Yards after catch. Right there, he doesn't get anything. He makes the catch, he's on the ground. I want to have him make a catch and be able to run for yardage after the catch.
When you're in motion on that play, it's hard to get deep enough in order to turn the corner. So 3rd down and 4 here. Hayes goes back in motion. They're looking for him. Malachuk will throw over to the right side. How about that breakup? Nice deflection by Gary Rutherford to make the stop, but it brings up 4th down.
That was a great defensive play, but it was even a better athletic play to be able to do that.
And that stops the clock with 4:04. Watch it again.
It's tough for a right-handed quarterback throwing to his left, but that was just good coverage right there. You're talking about good athletes, and that's exactly what you saw right there.
Credit Phil Ellis also in the coverage on the outside. It forced Malachuk to make a decision to throw deeper down the field. On 4th down, they'll line up to punt with Zach Hayes. Stand his own 39-yard line and punt it deep. Good punt. It's a great punt inside the 6-yard line. And the sure tackled Fauski will make sure to stop it right there at the 9. And so a little chess match of field position here for Nazareth as we wind down our first half. 3:54 to go. Nazareth, a touchdown lead here in Champaign.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Welcome back to the 5A state championship game on the IHSA television network. We saw Justin Taylor for Nazareth score their last touchdown. Well, Coach Tim Radke said he is the fiery leader on this Roadrunners team. He and wide receiver Zach Hayes are the two leaders that kind of lead this group. Hayes being the more subdued one and leads by example. Two have set a great relationship playing together since freshman year and both being on the outside offensively and being in the secondary together. Hayes has the captain's chair chosen by outgoing seniors from last year, and Taylor sets the emotional tone in practice and on the field. Back up to the booth for you guys.
Jack, you coached for a long time. What does the captain's chair type thing mean to you? That seems pretty cool.
Well, it means that you got some leadership by your players instead of you having to show leadership as the adult and as the coach. You want the kids to take charge, and you want the kids to take some ownership of the team, and that's what that does.
Leave the team better than you found it, pay it forward, all those things, right? It's pretty cool. Thank you, Darius. Appreciate that. So on first down, that deflected. Here's Malachi Washington again, out past the 20, and he'll get to about the 23. He had a nice rhythm on one drive, but we haven't seen much of that rhythm since. 17 carries still. He's getting a lot of the workload, but
quiet carries.
Quiet, yes. First down. Malachi again, stopped in the backfield, stopped again. And that's Kaminsky coming in with the hit. And Enriquez also. Boy, Kaminsky's been in the backfield a lot.
He really has. I mean, he's a good-sized kid at 220 pounds. He's only a sophomore, and he's already got offers from Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Tennessee. That tells you something about his abilities and the camps that he goes to in the summertime to showcase his abilities.
Again, in the backfield again, and that's a stop for Brady Gorman. Boy, Nazareth is showing some quickness to get past this Peoria line.
Well, and that's part of the game plan. We talked about their size. They average 313 pounds on that offensive line. And Nazareth is not that big, but they're quicker. And that's sometimes how you negate that size and that power.
Clock runs here. If there's a stop on third down, you would presume Nazareth could call a timeout to get the ball back with a good amount of time here to wrap up this first half. But first, Gist will throw right side, and it's nearly intercepted, deflected away. Jimmy Penley having the defensive game of his life out on the edge, and that will bring up fourth down.
That was 6 if he gotten that, without a doubt. Tough throw from one hash mark all the way to the other sideline. That takes a lot of arm, and the thing was he had a little pressure coming at him, so he didn't get everything on that ball.
I don't think he could have gotten a 6 because he was late getting there, but he had to lay out to get it. 3 down linemen. Watch the quick kick again. They've done it twice. They will do it again. It's a short one, and Taylor will not go get it. It rolls away at the 45. So Nazareth will get it at the 46 with good field position with 2:25 remaining in our first half.
Peoria just really likes to give their opponents great field position in all the special team play. Kickoffs, punts. But again, it comes down to the fact that you've got to have great faith in your defense. And can Nazareth take advantage of this?
Nazareth will have 54 yards to the end zone. And this is a key possession because they will get the ball coming out of the half as well. So they could put 2 on the board here, presumably. 2 receivers to the top. They'll throw it. And it's caught. Hayes, a first down inside the 40-yard line. Zach Hayes, who had the game-winning touchdown catch against Sycamore in the semifinal, a pickup of 14 yards there.
Well, what they're doing is putting a lot of versatility in their offense, and that's going to make Peoria real leery of coming too hard to stop the run game, because right now Nazareth has shown us that they can throw the football effectively.
Malachuk in shotgun now. He'll survey. Right side. Looks for Hayes. Deep throw, and it's just out of the reach of Hayes, who had beaten his man and got within inside the 10-yard line. It stops the clock at 1:53.
And actually, he got bumped at the line of scrimmage a little bit, which threw that off because the quarterback was throwing that ball with the anticipation that he was going to get a free release down the field. And just those 2 yards was a difference when he got bumped at the line of scrimmage.
Malachuk has been okay throwing the ball. He spread it around for sure. 4 different receivers on 5 different completions. Here's Taylor on the give. He'll get about 4, but more importantly, it runs the clock a little bit here. You don't want to give Peoria too much time the other way. That brings up 3rd down and 6.
I'm really impressed with Logan Malachuk, quarterback, as a sophomore. I mean, coming into this ball game, he's thrown the ball average 24 times a game and completed 14 of them for 172 yards and 33 touchdowns. Now, that's pretty darn good. Now, he's had 9 interceptions, but I'll take 14 touchdowns, over those 9 interceptions, but averaging 172 yards a game. And what that does is that gives you balance to the offense. Whenever your quarterback can average over 100 yards throwing the football, that gives your running game a real good advantage.
You want a quarterback that's got a good running game? Take a look at the schedule for today. Your 6A game is going to be outstanding. Tyler Vasey is the guy to see. He is the unanimous favorite for Player of the Year across the state of Illinois. It'll be Tyler Vasey against the world of East St. Louis with all the D1 scholarships that they have. Mount Carmel and Batavia. There's a score to settle with that one from a year ago.
It sure is.
And Lincoln Way East and Loyola, the matchup that pretty much everyone had penciled in August for our 8A finisher. An outstanding day of football coming ahead here on the IHSA television network.
And we've got beautiful weather for it. What a great day.
Hey, we are closing in on 50 degrees already here in Champaign. Not a cloud in the sky. Malachuk will throw to the right side. It is caught. Hayes slips inside a tackler, tries to do it again. He picks up the 1st down, in doing so, getting to the 28-yard line. He needed to get to the 30, and he gets to the 28.
Good throw right there, and just even a better route to get open. But they've got really complete faith in their passing game. And Coach Ratke has a great faith in the youth that he has in Nazareth. That offensive line is doing a nice job of pass blocking to give him the opportunity to throw the ball down the field.
Nazareth has played mistake-free football throughout this entire first half with 1 minute remaining. Clock continues to run. 2 receivers to the top. Malachuk will throw. Pressure coming. Escapes it. Gets around and throws to the right side. Had a man for a second. That's the right decision over to Penley. But throws it where only he could get to it. Goes out of bounds with 52 to go.
Smart play right there by a good athlete. Some of the things that we forget about is we look at these kids and we say, oh, he's a sophomore. But a lot of these kids have been playing football since they were in 3rd grade and 4th grade. And, that's not to say anything physically, but mentally, as far as the knowledge of the game, that's a big factor.
Well, we talked about it on some of our conversations with coaches. It's different when you ask a 14-year-old to lead a huddle of 17 and 18-year-old men. It's very different. Malachuk escapes it, looks left side. He's got Hayes. It's caught, gets to the end zone, and the touchdown for Nazareth.
What a throw right there. Right-handed quarterback going to his left, under pressure yet, where he was unable to really turn his shoulders up the field, but basically threw it sidearm on the money. What a great athletic play that was.
Zach Hayes, 28 yards, his 5th touchdown of the year, and the Roadrunners extend their lead.
Watch this right here. On the run, hardly gets his shoulders turned at all, put the ball right on the money.
So Hayes gets the touchdown, and now he'll try the extra point. And what a big swing for Nazareth to get off the field, get that short field, go back down and punch it in, and they will have it to come out of the second half. The extra point is good. And Nazareth is in firm control of this one here in Champaign.
And this gives you a good idea when we talk about field position based on special teams. What a great job right here. Look at the pressure the quarterback's getting. He has no time really to basically throw his, turn his shoulders, get his feet underneath him, but he puts the ball right on the money. Excellent route, but what a great athletic throw for that touchdown.
Zach Hayes, again, coming in with 39 receptions on the year. They spread it around between Penley, Taylor, and Hayes, about 40 each. So you get a catch, and you get a catch, and you get a catch. Let's take one more look. Watch the kickout block. That's the freshman, number 12, McLean, with the little kickout block on the blitz.
And it was just enough to let him get outside. But what an excellent job right there. Really great execution of the route itself, but really an athletic move by the quarterback to be able to throw that ball with that kind of a pressure on him, and as a sophomore to be able to do that.
Nazareth is able to run some time down, so they chewed up about a minute and a half of the half remaining, and 2 of those catches, both the Hayes, including the touchdown.
Good shot right there of Coach Thornton. Can't be a happy camper at this point. And you know, what adjustments obviously does he make at halftime? Because when we spoke with him during the week, it was like, we don't make adjustments. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they do in the second half.
Hayes with a line drive. It will bounce at the 10. It will be picked up. TQ Webb met immediately at the 18-yard line. And that was Andrew Fowler, the junior, with the hit. And let's see what Peoria does with 40 seconds to go. They're not going to genuflect and take it to halftime here.
No, they're not. You know, it's interesting. Peoria's been in the playoffs now 19 times. They've won the state championship once and came in second another time. On the other hand, Nazareth has been in the playoffs. A young school has been in the playoffs 21 times. They've been in the title game 5 times with Coach Racky, won 3 state championships and came in second once. So that's a pretty good track record for Nazareth and Coach Racky.
Jack, since that touchdown, Peoria's last 3 drives have turned into turnover on downs, punt, and then punt. What will they do here? Yep, outside the 20 and out to the 25-yard line for Washington. Clock runs at 30.
Well, they're not going to give up on Washington, obviously, because he's really what got them here. They're not showing as much balance as they have in the regular season, though, as far as run pass.
3-man front. They drop 8. Gets the throw. Left side. He's got an open man. It's Webb. Open at the 40. Foot race towards the end zone. He will slip to a tackler at around the 6-yard line. Taylor had to go chase him down, and they'll mark it at the 4, and Peoria's back in business. 69 yards on the pickup with 14 seconds to go.
Matt, you think he heard me saying there wasn't enough balance between run and pass? Here they go right here. And what happened right now was the defensive back was looking in the backfield because Washington had that big run prior, and he thinks sometimes I got to make up and get up and make a tackle. Right here. This is just speed.
Peoria. It's their first one.
Peoria takes a timeout. They had 3 to work with. They were going to mark him out of bounds, but I think you want to just get everything organized. On 1st and goal from the 4. TQ Webb, 40 catches and 800-plus yards coming in. Nearly took that to the house for his 11th touchdown of the year.
Really a nice throw by Rutherford, putting the ball right on the money.
So you see Tim Racky rather animated in that huddle for Nazareth. That's a big timeout. This is a big moment for Nazareth.
Oh, it's no doubt about it, especially after they were on a high after that drive and that touchdown. And all of a sudden, you let them come back in the ball game. That's very unexpected and very on-Racky Nazareth-like.
The conversation, no doubt, has to be they're going to keep coming. And so the Lions continue to roar. And they keep roaring their way to 1st and goal at the 4. Trying to punch one in before the break to cut into this 2-touchdown lead that Nazareth has built throughout the first half. Washington goal line, walks in, touchdown. Lions back on the board. Malachi Washington with the touchdown.
It's kind of amazing how fast the tide has turned going into halftime. Took 30 seconds for that drive for Peoria after Nazareth scored. You can see just a good job right here. He gets in behind the big guys. We say big guys. Those 5 average 313, and now they're going for 2.
Pistol. Washington again. He will be stopped short of the goal line. And so that lead remains at 8 with 10 seconds to go. That clock should not have run on that. Let's see if they put that back to 14.
But the momentum change in a short period of time right there was kind of amazing. Well, you can see right here, they get in behind the big guys, they get the guard pulling, but that's just a great job right there defensively of coming up and making a play. And again, penetration. They're kind of beating the front.
As Braden Ferguson with penetration in the backfield there. It might be academic. You'd think Nazareth might just take it to halftime with this, but the clock should say 14. We'll see if they adjust it or not.
Here's again, you're going to be your onside kick.
Right. And this is where these become key, especially at the end of halves. Against Morris, Peoria put 32 points on the board in the final 3 minutes of the half, including a pick six.
Well, this is where you have against a team, you have your hands team out there all the time. You don't see linemen in those front rows. They're all receivers, running backs, linebackers, your athletic kids that have hands that can handle the football and have some agility when it bounces crazy on this turf, which it always does.
Little pooch kick. It's going to land. It's free, and Taylor's going to try and run it, and he'll stop at the 36. They kind of held the clock, so kind of a backwards fix on that before they actually ran it with 9 seconds now.
What a major change of momentum going into the locker room. Nazareth would have been on a real big high going in there with that last score, and then all of a sudden, with no time at all, 20 seconds, Peoria goes down and scores, and then the momentum changes immediately. So it's going to be kind of interesting at halftime.
Malachuk under center, and he will take a knee, and that is how we will get to the half. So Nazareth, mistake-free until the final 30 seconds where the door cracks open, and Peoria's got plenty of offensive firepower to come with it. But they trail, and Nazareth takes a 22-14 lead into the break.
And we've got much more of a game here, Matt, than most people thought. A lot of people thought, well, Nazareth kind of tiptoed in here with their record of start the season coming into playoffs at 5-4, but they've earned every bit of it with 7 straight wins, and now they're showing how good they are against a really good Peoria team.
Trying to be the first 4-loss team to win a state championship since Loyola did it back in 2018. Downstairs we go to Darius.
Here with Coach Tim Rackey of Nazareth Academy. Obviously, you guys going into the locker room with the lead. Defense was stepping up there, but kind of obviously they got that late touchdown. What did you like about your defense in the first half?
Oh, the execution, discipline. Everybody was taking care of their assignments, and more importantly, which we pride ourselves on, getting to the ball.
And Logan, obviously 3 touchdowns for you in that first half. What did you like about how he was kind of commanding the offense?
It's almost a mirror of the defense. I love our execution in all phases of the game right now. We just have to sustain it. We're used to going 48 minutes, which is the 4 quarters, and that's what we have to do. We have to finish it 24 more.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, Darius, thank you. Tim Rackey looking for state championship number 8 on his resume. And the Roadrunners with the halftime lead. Justin Taylor punching into the end zone for one of his touchdowns of the day. Halftime here in Champaign.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights, and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger united.
For extraordinary moments in life, you should never have to settle for ordinary healthcare coverage. That's why at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we put the extra in our plans. Extra me time to catch up on your faves, with telehealth visits included. Extra peace of mind, knowing a nurse line is here 24/7 for those unexpected moments. Visit us at bcbsilextra.com to enroll. Because extraordinary coverage should come with extraordinary extras.
There are more than 20,000 ways to experience Illinois State.
Hey, what's up? You ready to go to class?
What kind of Redbird will you be?
Hi.
Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
A late surge by Peoria at the end of the first half, but Nazareth still leads it here at the break of this 5A state championship game. 22-14 is your halftime score as we welcome you back inside Memorial Stadium. My name is Mark Kruger. Glad to have you with us. Well, it's time to hear a word from Illinois State University. Our friends create their own legacy. Check it out here at Illinois State University.
Hi there. I'm Jeff Mavros, Executive Director of Admissions and Recruitment Marketing at Illinois State University. It's my pleasure to tell you that this fall we just enrolled our largest freshman class in 35 years. And beyond this class just being large in number, they're accomplished academically, and it happens to be the most diverse class we've enrolled in our 160-plus year history. We're so excited about seeing what this class is going to do over the next few years, adding to the fabric of our community here at Illinois State. Yeah, it's a really exciting time actually to be a Redbird right now. We are just putting our final touches on our state-of-the-art esports facility that is going to serve both our varsity teams, which are really top collegiate programs in the entire country, all the way to our rec players and those that want to get in just to connect with students with shared interests, to things like our new College of Fine Arts renovations that are happening really across that college, going to touch about half of those spaces in the fine arts at about a $70 million price tag for those renovations and constructions, to things like our nursing simulation labs and about tripling the clinical space that we'll provide on campus to our students in that great program so that we can really help address the nursing shortages happening across the country. And then some programs that are, projects rather, that are coming online that just aren't even in the works yet. But 2025, the fall of 2025, we'll have a new College of Engineering. We're going to bring in a whole new cohort for mechanical, electrical, and general engineering, and then a new dining center and actually residence hall about 2 years out for our students. And so in so many ways, the university is committed to enhancing the experience, and there are a lot of exciting projects. It's a really great time to be a Redbird on campus. Yeah, the college search process varies a little bit depending on the student type and where they are in that process. But I would say for all students, a really good idea is to find their way to college campuses, physically set foot on the college campus to determine if it's the right fit for them and for their family. And so if students out there are interested in Illinois State specifically, we love that. Come see us. Check us out online at illinoisstate.edu. You can find all of our visit opportunities, register, and come find us.
Great to hear from our friends at Illinois State University. We are at halftime of this 5A state championship game, and Nazareth leading Peoria here at the break by a score of 22-14. Back with more from Memorial Stadium right here on the IHSA Television Network. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. We are at halftime of this Class 5A state championship game, and it's Nazareth leading Peoria here at the break by a score of 22-14. As we welcome you back here, Mark Kruger along with Darius Joshua, our sideline reporter for this Class 5A game and 6A game. And Darius, this Peoria team, they have been averaging over 55 points per game in the postseason, just 14 here in the first half, but that late surge may get them going for the second half.
Yeah, I think that's something that Peoria was kind of expecting, those big plays. And Nazareth, speaking with the Nazareth head coach, Tim Rackey, said he liked his defensive execution in the first half, and we saw it kind of hold up right up until that last possession there for Peoria.
Well, time now to take a look at our first half stats. It's being brought to you by LaGrange, and we'll get to that in just a second. But as far as this Peoria team, what adjustments do you think they have to make after what they saw from Nazareth's defense in that first half?
Yeah, I think obviously they know that they want to run the ball. Certainly that is something that Nazareth knows Peoria wants to do. They want to get to that. And we saw that kind of work in their favor with a big run play, big pass play rather, right before the half there. So I think you may see a little more kind of mixing of those two things, more maybe play action kind of to get to the pass, maybe to kind of open things up and get to the run there for Peoria.
All right, there's time now for our first half stats, and it is being brought to you by LaGrange. Start your career in construction today at LaGrangeCareers.org, and you take a look at the numbers there. Pretty even, pretty balanced. And what do you think is going to be the difference here as we head to the third quarter? Boy, those are even numbers.
Yeah, they really are kind of across the board pretty even for both of these teams here. And I'm also the most curious thing is the time of possession there. Well, obviously Peoria wants to go so fast, but Nazareth was able to kind of actually hold the ball and kind of keep it away from them a little bit in that half there. So it'll be interesting to see just how quickly Peoria can get into their offense in the second half.
Malachi Washington with those two touchdowns. Look for him to explode more as well. All right, we need to take a timeout. Halftime of this Class 5A state championship game. Nazareth on top by a score of 22-14. Back with more from Memorial Stadium on the IHSA Television Network.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights, and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger united.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you predict the future? You create it. You build a foundation, pave a path forward, soak up the journey, and turn experiences into something life-changing. At Illinois State University, we deliver on what every college should promise you: the opportunity and tools to write your legacy every day. The rest is up to you. What will you create? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Halftime score with the Nazareth Roadrunners, an 8-point lead on the Peoria Lions here in our Class 5A state championship game at Memorial Stadium on a beautiful day here on the campus of the University of Illinois. Matt Rodewald with you here, Jack McInerney. As we look at the first half, Nazareth, you cannot avoid the fact that they've done so well. They've been very impressive here in this first half.
I am so very impressed with their maturity. We talked about Cinderella in the open, because they're so young, so many freshmen, so many sophomores, but they've been so good in this ball game. They've showed so much maturity. And, of course, Peoria is the same way. And here's a great job by the quarterback getting down into the end zone. Nazareth has shown a lot more maturity than you'd think by their roster.
And they've been pretty much mistake-free until the last 30 seconds or so, and Peoria sort of caught something of a halftime adjustment before halftime. If they stretch the field more, that might open up the running game.
Well, I definitely think that what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to throw the football. Nazareth has come into this game with a great game plan, certainly to stop the run, and they're probably thought, let's see, if we're going to beat Peoria, we're going to stop the run and force them to pass. Well, they did that job in the first half, so now in the second half we're going to see if it pays off, because Peoria is definitely going to have to throw the ball a little more.
Peoria doesn't like to make adjustments, but they might have to heading into the second half. We'll see what they come out with here. Our second half of our Class 5A state championship game is coming up next here on the IHSA Television Network.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights, and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger, united.
This is the great state, where you'll find hearts bigger, beating truer, and always wide open. Country miles with never-ending pride, virtues and values, and colors that run deep. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we were born and raised in the land of Lincoln. And like you, we'll always be here, standing for all. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, nationwide strong, Illinois born.
Welcome back to the Class 5A state championship game on the IHSA Television Network. Nazareth Academy leading Peoria 22-14, now joined by Peoria head coach Tim Thornton. What did you like from your team here in that first half?
You know, we're showing some good things. We're on a roll with some things. We had some things that we needed to fix. They came out with a good game plan on the other side. We had to adjust to it. I like the adjustments we made. We've got to do a better job just making sure that our footwork's right and we're not letting leaks through.
With that big play you guys had right before the end of the first half there, do you think that kind of gives you some of that boost, something you're looking for in the second half?
I think it just reminds the kids that we can score fast if we need to. So much of it for us is mentality. We were in the same position against Mascoutah a few weeks ago, and we just got to get our minds right and come out and execute at the level that we're used to playing at.
Thank you very much for your time, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half. Should be an exciting second half between Peoria and Nazareth Academy. Matt?
All right, Darius, thank you. Jack, you heard footwork. What did that say to you in terms of O-line, D-line?
Well, when you've got 300-pounders, they've got a lot of meat and beef, as coaches would say. But what happens about the footwork is the quickness of Nazareth's defensive linemen. They're just out-quicking them. Now, it's hard to say for big linemen that their feet got to get better. To me, the adjustment would be cut the splits down. That way they don't have to move so quickly. And it's going to be tougher for the Nazareth defensive line to penetrate. Right now, they're just out-quicking them because the gaps are a little too big in between those big guys.
Well, this Nazareth defensive line, they've been getting through and hitting hard, and we've seen some hard hitting so far. This is a state championship effort by both teams defensively, and we are seeing a boatload of hits that have, and especially when you're talking about, you talk about the defensive line cutting through. As you watch here, the penetration, guys like Gabe Kaminsky getting through. Here's another angle at that. You see Zach Hayes coming through there as well. And on the other side, with Peoria's D-line, they've been able to stuff the run on the goal line at the very least to try and prevent Nazareth from getting into the end zone. But also on the edge, Mr. Jimmy Penley saying hello to every receiver he can on the corners.
Well, both these teams are extremely well coached, and you've got to be to get to this level and to be in the state championship game. And you can see the quality and the aggressiveness of both defenses. They get to the ball. And it's not, when they talk about getting the ball, it's not just one guy. You're talking about 2 or 3 guys getting the ball at the same time. When they get there, they're not in a good mood.
The hard hitting we see in this 5A game, we expect to see that all day long, especially when we get to our 6A, 7A game. It's going to be real physical, I think, between Mount Carmel and Batavia. That's one where if you're an official, you might want to have your hand on the old yellow flag just a little bit early in that one, just to make sure that you have control of that. Our 6A game will feature East St. Louis and Prairie Ridge. Early thoughts on that, just because the Flyers, much talked about all year long. Prairie Ridge coming from the Fox Valley. It's like they just took Cary Grove from last year and put them right in Prairie Ridge this year.
No doubt about it. The same offense, but it's a different situation. It's the quarterback this year for Prairie Ridge as opposed to the fullback last year for Cary Grove. So, folks, don't go anywhere today because we've got some great ball games, including this one right now. And you can't get any better football than what we're looking at right here on the screen.
I know it's Small Business Saturday, but there's going to be nobody at Kiss the Sky in Batavia. That's a little record store. Going to be a little light foot traffic today. There's going to be people watching some Batavia football either down here or if there's anyone left on Wilson Street for sure. And then Lincoln Way East and Loyola Academy. That one is going to be dynamic because both teams are awfully good, both offensively and defensively. Onside kick rolls harmlessly out of bounds as we come back to action to start the second half, and Nazareth will have it with good field position again.
Well, again, it's a situation where can teams take advantage of the good field position that Peoria gives them every time they kick.
And so first possession, and you've liked the balance so far from Nazareth offensively. They've been able to spread the field at different receivers. Justin Taylor's kept them honest in the backfield. And we'll see how they come out here in the second half.
No doubt about it. They've done a really nice job with the balance of their game plan offensively. And that's why they've been so effective throwing the football, because the run game has been so effective.
They have to move the ball. So when it rolls out of bounds, it's an illegal procedure penalty.
Correct.
So that's a 5-yard walk-off from the spot. That's why you see it at the 49. And so here we go. Start our second half. Malachuk will hand it to the freshman McLean, who gets maybe a yard. And we go back to work.
First down. First down is so crucial for both teams. And the thing is, it's actually more crucial for Nazareth because they're a younger team, they're a smaller team, and they're more inexperienced as far as game time. Peoria's bigger, stronger, and so first down for them, they can get 1 yard, where Nazareth really needs to get 3 or 4 yards to have an effective offensive game plan.
And you always hear coaches talk about being behind the chains, make sure they don't be behind the chains. When you're a young team, when you're staring at 2nd and 9, 3rd and 11, it feels different than 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. Malachuk, pressure coming, all-out blitz. He will throw to the right side and get rid of it.
He could get a flag here.
He was out of the tackle box. You can see the official on the field is actually pointing. Yep, it was out, and it was across the line of scrimmage. That's a really smart play by Logan Malachuk.
It really is, but does he get the pressure right here? No doubt about it. And this is something that's going to happen. I think Peoria's game plan, we made the adjustment at halftime. We're going to come after this kid. We've got the athletes. We've got the speed. Defensively, we've got to put pressure on him so he can't get settled in and throw the ball effectively down the field.
It does stop the clock, too, which is something you're going to continue to pay attention to with this Peoria offense wanting to get up and down quickly. Malachuk will throw left side. Single coverage. It's Taylor, and he'll try and get it, but it's intercepted. He could not get around the corner to pick it, and it's picked off. Eli McFadden with the interception for the Lions.
Now, that's not as bad as we think, because that's just a pretty effective punt in some respects. Now, I think that might be the first turnover of the ball game. You can see he really not threw that ball kind of flat-footed, and the coverage was excellent, obviously.
Did he catch that with one hand?
Yes, he did. It was pinned underneath.
Watch it again. With his right hand. That's incredible. Eli McFadden, the 5'11" senior. A turnover sets it up 1st and 10 at the 14. Washington back to work. And he'll drive the pile all the way out past the 20 into the 23-yard line. That was a 2-yard gain that turned into 9. One more in the interception.
You can see his arm is pinned right there. I'm a firm believer that these gloves have stick-em or something. There's so many one-handed catches nowadays in football at all levels. And every time you see those catches, it's with people that have those gloves on.
It's called technology these days, right?
Where were those when I was playing?
Exactly. Malachi Washington gets close to the marker and gets the first down. Over 100 yards on the day. Look, technology's not everything, Jack.
That's
I wore
true.
those same gloves. 1-8 football team. I'm telling you, it does not always translate into talent. Pistol left. A roll out to the right. And a catch. And immediately stopped. And that was TQ Webb, the sophomore. He's had a couple of catches today. That was 11 yards on the pickup. And you're starting to see them throw the ball a little side to side. Back to Washington. Through a blocker towards the first down marker and shy by about a yard. And when you know it, you're already at midfield.
And that's just a good surge by that big offensive line that we've talked about. But Washington is getting in the seam and behind them. He's not tiptoeing, but yet he's finding that seam and working upfield.
The first down for Peoria.
They stopped the clock to move the chains as they awarded a first down at the 46-yard line. That's the 11th first down of the game for Peoria. And Washington up the middle, make that number 12. He picks up about 12, so you're seeing chunks of about 11, 10, 9, 12 yards here and there, right up the gut.
And again, we mentioned that at halftime, you know, he could have said to the coach, Coach, I can handle the ball. Keep giving it to me. And, you know, we talked about he averages 27 carries a ball game.
Against Nazareth. That's the first
sideline warning against Nazareth.
So he got 15 yards on that run, but he averages 236 yards a game on 27 carries. So he's probably saying, you know what, double my carries in this game. It's a state championship game. I got all winter to rest.
Just gets the play call. They line up, receiver each side, shifting the tight end to the right. They go power right. Here's Washington cutting inside one tackler, getting loose around the 30, trying to slip through another tackle and does, all the way down to the 21-yard line. 18 yards for Washington, and he's getting stronger.
As a lot of good running backs do. The more work they get in a tempo and a rhythm.
10 yards, 15 yards, 18 yards. The last 3 carries for Washington. He'll get it again. And he'll be met right at the line of scrimmage this time. And Brady Gorman says, I've had enough of this. And he'll stop him right at the sticks.
Now what Peoria has done in the second half here, maybe it was a little minor adjustment at halftime, but they put a lot of strength to one side of the field, and then they come back running to the weak side because Nazareth makes the adjustment to slide to the strength side, and then Peoria comes back weak.
This time it's Odom. Odom gets about 6 yards that time. They give Washington a break. He'll put the hand up and say, I need one, which is something you don't see much, but you're starting to see more of as coaches have gone away from the if I need a break aspect, you're not tough mentality.
Right. Put your hand on your helmet or you raise your hand, but they've got the depth to do that.
Odom again, left side. And that one won't go anywhere. Sent out of bounds. Jaden Fauski driving the pile towards the sideline. And that was 3rd down. So this brings up 4th down. And a loss of 2 on that one.
This would be a big stop for Nazareth because Peoria was really on a roll on this drive.
10th play of the drive. They need to get to the 11-yard line. 4th and 5. Washington, left side. He'll get the first down and more to the end zone. Touchdown, Peoria. Lions punch it in from 16 yards out and a chance to tie it.
What a nice job right there of running by Washington, but a better job of blocking by the left side of the line of Batista, Green, and Brown. You can see the surge that they have right there, Fuller and Roscoe. Great job by that offensive line on that particular drive. They probably got a lot of pressure at halftime to say, hey, look you guys have been dominating all year long, and you haven't done it against a very young, more or less immature team in that first half. Let's see what you can do in the second half. And on this drive, they certainly showed it.
Two-pointer to tie, throw to the coffin corner, and it is caught for the conversion by Ricky Hearn. And we are all tied at 22. This was a 2-touchdown lead for Nazareth, but the Lions can score in bunches. They erased it before the half. They do it again to come out of the half. Malachi Washington finding Paydirt one more time. 8:04 to go in the third.
Let's go!
Malachi Washington with his hard hat and lunch pail for this one. Of course, 10 plays, 86 yards on that drive. He had 7 carries and 60 yards on his own. He's doing work. He's getting stronger. We're all tied here in Champaign.
Well, and the thing was, too, here, we talked about that offensive line doing really a nice job, but I'll tell you, a guy that really helped him was that fullback, Landon Newley-Holsom, did a great job when they ran to the weak side of kicking out. And so he was a big part of that drive for Washington.
Onside kick, a dribbler, it's short. It's loose, though, and who comes up with it? But there's a flag. Hold on a second. If they point towards Peoria, did that go 10 yards before they touched it? And that is
what I suspect.
There's no signal. They're going to talk about what they want to call here first.
Good officials, look at them. It's always, you got a good crew when they get together and discuss exactly what happened, because there's a lot more eyes.
This is a very difficult play to officiate because they're so spread out around the field. Typical offense-defense is one thing, but when it comes to kick return formation, the officials are spread all over the place. It did not look like it went 10 yards before a touch on looking at it live.
During the kick, we had a legal block in the neutral zone before the ball touched R or went 10 yards. It's against the kicking team. It's 10 yards. We're going to repeat the kick.
Jack, explain that to us.
Well, a couple things that happen here. When you do an onside kick, you don't have all of the guys that are on the kicking team are not going down there to recover the kick. There's guys that are assigned to be blockers. In other words, they're assigned to go down and block certain people so that other people can go in and recover the ball.
Now, the neutral zone is the 10-yard window from the 40 where the ball's placed to the 50-yard line. Watch the contact. It is right at the 50.
See, right there, we're talking about the blocking guy that came down to block. He had no intention of recovering the ball. He was the guy that was supposed to block the person that was thought to recover the ball for Nazareth.
I think they're going to, you have a choice in re-kicking it and I think because the ball was recovered by Peoria, that forces the re-kick.
Again, this is a perfect situation where you talk about, okay, you onside kick normally. Now you're going to do it again, and look at the field position you're going to give them.
And that was right, again, at the 50-yard line where the contact was. They said the contact was before that, so that was really close.
Trying to watch
I think Nazareth got a big break there.
Trying to watch how he sets the ball up. Of course, if he's only taking 2 steps, it's an onside kick.
It's a more traditional kick, but no one's back at the 30. They'll pick it up. It's McLean with a little speed trying to get to the outside. He'll stay on his feet. He's not down yet. And finally driven down at the 41-yard line. So after all that, 12-yard return, Nazareth's going to take over.
And it's basically back to where it was initially. But I guess that's their answer to the deep kick.
It's backyard football. 1st and 10. What does Nazareth need to do to sustain a drive at this point?
They actually, all they've got to do is continue what they've been doing, showing good balance offensively, and not go away from and panic just because Peoria had scored the last couple of times.
See the front 4, or front 7, or front 11 for Peoria. They go end around with Taylor.
He's got
Look at all the blockers in front of him. He'll turn the corner. He's loose down the sideline. And taken out at the 18-yard line. Justin Taylor with enough speed to get 41 yards inside the red zone.
Now what happens on that particular play, he just outruns that front. You can see everybody chasing. He had a head start. It's like being in a race, and I give you a 5 or 10-yard head start, and I'm going to try and catch up. Well, in that particular defense, those guys are standing there flat-footed, and he's already moving on the run to the edge, and so that particular defense is becoming a little ineffective against what Nazareth does with that jet sweep.
Let's watch them all line up. You can go edge to edge with enough speed to drop a few guys back, but here, look how crowded they are in a line of scrimmage. They go it again. Taylor around the corner again, getting 6. Clipped out of bounds on that one. It's Rutherford with the stop.
Now Nazareth has run the ball to the left probably 90% of this ball game. And sooner or later, I would think that the coaches up in the press box would call down and say, we got to slide somebody over there or do something to stop that very effective run to the left side.
It's starting to balance up for Nazareth. They've thrown effectively today, but 110 yards on the ground, 107 in the air.
Well, you know where their passing game,
pickup.
Excuse me, Matt, where their passing game is most effective is when they get down in the red zone.
There go jet sweep the other way. Taylor again. Can he get a block? He's going to slip inside the 10, right at the first down marker. Where did they spot it? That will be at the 9, and they will move the chains.
Again, you can see good job of outside, a combination of holding and running with the defender to stay in his face to allow that runner to look to cut back up inside, which he didn't need to do on that particular play. They pick up the first down. 1st and goal.
They have McLean in. Let's see if they spread it out. 3 receivers at all. They do.
See them all looking at their wristbands. Those are what I wore going into the tests in high school.
No one needs to know that. There's
There
a flag coming. They run to McLean again. All is forgiven when it comes to that stuff.
You know, this is interesting. That's the same, you know, those are the plays right here. Has been very, very productive, but redundant that Peoria should not catch on to it already, that they've run for touchdowns and extra points as far as Nazareth.
Turn it down. An illegal shift by the offense.
So the illegal shift will move it back a little bit. We haven't seen too many penalties overall. Watch it again. You got 2 in motion. Who's in motion? And then they snap it.
And you can see how that guy blocks on the inside to allow that receiver to get out on the edge, which basically is illegal. Now, Nazareth has done all of these passing plays to the outside. They have done nothing to the inside yet, which could be a changeup coming up soon.
Where they haven't marked it off yet. And I think they just realized that. If I'm not mistaken, that should be at the 14.
Now everything down here and has been man coverage, and against man coverage, crossing routes are the most effective, and this could be something that Nazareth might think of doing or will be doing. They've been running the pick plays to the outside, which have been effective, but I think after a while Peoria is starting to catch on to that.
They respot the ball, so they do move it back to the 14. This is 1st and goal. 2 receivers near side. Malachuk to throw. He's got Penley. Cuts inside to the 2. Reaches for it. Didn't get there. Boy, you like Jimmy Penley's size and the way he moves his body. He positions himself perfectly as a receiver.
Well, you know, he does a good job. That's just a really good route. The only thing I don't like there is he didn't come back to it a little bit. You got to remember, when you make a turn, if the ball's not delivered, that defender's closing on you. So you've got to take steps back towards the ball to keep that cushion between you and the defender.
Hayes split out far to the top of your screen. They give ahead, punch into the end zone. A flag comes out. It was Flanagan on the carry, and it looked like movement.
Nazareth can't afford this down here. Yep.
This looks like it's in the area of Nazareth, and there would be their third penalty of the morning.
Okay, we had a legal substitution against the offense.
Did they have 12 on the field? I think there's some confusion on who's supposed to be in where.
Well, you have your goal line package, and oftentimes, sometimes in games like this, kids are paying attention to the cheerleaders or the fans more than they are to the ball game, and that's what happens when you have a personnel change.
It's the specialty packages sometimes. And now we have another stoppage. So down in distance, trying to keep track of it with these last two penalties has been a challenge for this crew.
Please put 6:36 on the game clock.
And we're going to move the game clock to 6:36. We've seen a lot of Dennis Doyle, Professor Doyle, the referee today in the last few minutes. Clock reset, off we go. Two receivers each side. That's Taylor now in motion. Malachuk to the right side. A little room to cut back in and get to the end zone for the touchdown. The sophomore quarterback scores from 7 yards out. And Nazareth goes back in front.
What an excellent play call right there. Man coverage. All they did is they ran everybody off, and that allowed the quarterback to skirt up the field because nobody knew he was running. This was a design run the entire time. Those guys just ran those defenders off to the outside, and he ran up inside. Great play call, knowing that Peoria is going to play man coverage the entire time down there.
Logan Malachuk with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And Hayes will add the extra point. And our score, 29-22. The Roadrunners going back and forth with the Lions. It's a good one here in Champaign. Nazareth and Peoria. Some offensive fireworks and the youth movement for the Roadrunners in full effect. Up 7 in the title game.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Peoria will go back to work on offense, now trailing by 7. 6.5 to go in quarter number 3. Matt Rodewald and Jack McInerney with you here. So glad you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. Nazareth has played some good football, and they've taken some punches, and they've hit right back.
Well, you know, you're talking about a Peoria team that's a veteran team and a very young, as we spoke before, a young, almost immature team in Nazareth, but yet both teams, when they're in the red zone, they're both 3 for 3. So kind of give the advantage to that to Nazareth.
End over end kick taken at the 6-yard line. Richie Hearn down the sidelines. Tries to cut back inside, and he's still on his feet. And finally stepping out at the 21-yard line.
For some reason, some way, Peoria always seems to come right back after a score by Nazareth. I mean, here's the kickoff. Nazareth just scored on a great drive, and on special teams, they give up a big play. What a backbreaker this is for Nazareth as far as momentum. And excellent, obviously, for Peoria.
Hearn was able to get 5 more yards on that run after being spun around. 73 total on the kick return, and the Lions back in business. Pistol set. Washington back to work and pulled down immediately. That's Kaminsky. Another tackle for loss for Gabe Kaminsky, his 40th of the season.
And that's just a great play, and that's what you've got to do on first down. Get them on the wrong end of those chains. And Kaminsky, of course, is doing a great job with penetration right there. He's only a sophomore, but a lot of schools are after him.
Just a throw caught. Hearn again inside the red zone and taken down. He'll be short of the first down. It'll bring up third down at about 3, maybe 2.
Now that's a situation right there, Matt, where the cornerback was playing way off. And he was just scared of getting beat down the field again, as what happened in the first half and right near the end. In the very last or second to the last play of the first half, he got beat. So let's see how tight these corners play.
Washington up the gut. First down and a little bit more inside the 15. Driven down as Gordman pulled him down. So that's just their third down conversion on 10 tries today. They're going to go for it on fourth down more often than not, but they can't get moving on third. So first and goal at the 9. Washington again. Big hole to the end zone. Malachi Washington with the score from 9 yards out.
Showing great power and quickness there at 5'10", 205. But again, a shout out to those 5 offensive line that set it up. You can see the down blocking right here. And again, there's the fullback and the tackle come up inside. Landon Newly Wholesome, the fullback, always does a nice job on that particular play.
Going for 2. Washington again walks in, and the Lions take the lead. 5:01 remaining in quarter number 3. Malachi Washington getting stronger and stronger as this afternoon goes along. The Lions go back in front for the first time since the first quarter.
You got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line. They've gained a little more confidence here after being kind of beat a little bit in that first half by the quickness of the defensive front. You can see the movement right here of those big guys getting out in front. Fuller, number 78. For a guy that's 320 pounds, did a pretty nice job of getting out in front of the running back. And, of course, Batista and Green and Brown and Roscoe did a nice job along with the fullback, Newly Wholesome.
And for more on that, let's send it down to Darius.
Yeah, Matt and Jack, you guys have been talking about these sides of the line all day long, and they're actually called the meat wall up front. Coach Tim Thornton didn't know exactly when that started, but at one point they just told Malachi, don't try to get creative out there, just follow the meat wall. And you can see from Dominic Batista all the way to A.J. Roscoe, 302 pounds, 389, 249, 318, and 301. A big push up front for the Lions up there.
Jack and I are now getting meat wall t-shirts made up, and that one will be recovered at the 39-yard line. Just need a nice logo with that size, XXX, XXX for those guys.
Well, they
wear that around
you
school.
know that they don't come in medium and small, and probably not even in large.
Or in medium, which is, a combination. When you shouldn't be wearing a small, but you're wearing a small. So Nazareth goes back to work. And what troubles you with Peoria sometimes is that you do all this work to work your way down the field offensively, and then they rip off a quick score and make you go back out there.
Well, that's kind of a combination of maturity and experience. Peoria having the experience and Nazareth being a younger team.
Broken play for Malachuk, and he will get maybe a yard out of it or 2. It looked like he was looking for someone to hand off, and the ghost running back was not there for him.
Now that's the first bad play that Nazareth has had in this whole game right here. Obviously, there was a mix-up with the running back. It was supposed to be some sort of an option. But for a team that came into this game that thought that they'd never even get in the playoffs, and having that being really the first basic mistake that they've made is really outstanding. To credit to Coach Racky and his staff, and also to these kids.
Still a positive play of 2 yards. 2nd and 8 for Malachuk. The throw, right side, caught. And it's Hayes trying to get out of a tackle and shoved out of bounds. It was pickup of 10 yards for Phil Ellis, the defender, driving him out. Hayes has been outstanding today. He's got 4 catches.
Well, that corner's playing way off him, so they're going to deliver the football to him. You can see like the little bake and shake right there, but he's out of bounds already, but picks up the first down.
You can see the size difference, too. A guy like Hayes, who's 6'1", 185.
We got a flag.
Flag from deep. Play clock.
We have a delay of game on the offense.
That hurts.
4th penalty. 20 yards now on penalties.
Another pre-snap penalty that drive coaches up a wall.
One thing to think of from a state championship experience is the fact that you're in a stadium trying to find the play clock sometimes. And they have some at high school football fields around Illinois now, but becoming more commonplace. Taylor cuts to the outside. He got a block to get back towards the 40-yard line. But just finding it sometimes in a building that's cavernous like this is tough.
Well, coaches talk about that. They try to get them familiar with the stadium. You know, we talked about this yesterday when we came here. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and kids were out on the field. Well, they're getting acclimated not only to the turf, but to the field itself and the stadium and where that clock is.
We saw the Lena Winslow Panthers having a good time for a good hour and a half. Of course, they had been here before several times, but a lot of teams, it's their first time in the building. Malachuk hit as he throws, and Pinley lays out to make the catch. Wow! At the 11-yard line.
Great catch. Great catch.
As good a catch as you'll see at this level anywhere in America. 31 yards. Whoa.
And he had the defender beat. And, of course, if he hadn't had a dive for the catch, he just walks into the end zone after that because he's 4 yards past the defender.
And if you noticed, he had the wherewithal to get up and start going like it's the NFL. Malachuk free to the end zone. Touchdown, 10 yards out. Logan Malachuk, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day.
What a nice job. And that was the option off the jet sweep. Man coverage again led to the downfall of Peoria on that particular play because the motion man took the outside guy with him. And so right there, he's gone. You see him going with him. Quarterback reads it up into the end zone. Really a nice play call, but really excellent execution on Malachuk's part.
The defensive end also upfield by about 2 or 3 yards, helps him cut inside to get that running lane. Something those quarterbacks are constantly watching. It's so hard to stay home without going upfield on this RPO defensively.
Well, you know, kids want to make the big sack, and they want to get penetration. And sometimes you can't do that against a good athletic team or a good athletic quarterback like Malachuk is.
3 receivers near side on the 2-point conversion. Malachuk will roll and pressure coming. He'll throw it. Hit as before he could catch it. No flag. Oh, there it comes out late. Very late. That took a long time for it to come out, but it was pretty clear the contact was before the attempt to make a catch could occur.
Well, this was just a sprint out with a flood route. And they had a guy right on the goal line and a guy right on the back line. That's what you want to do. But basically, he had a man backside wide open. You can see the flood. He's sprinting out. Lyman sliding with him. And all the receivers are on to the left side of your screen.
Helmet-to-helmet contact.
And there's your interference right there. Great camel work.
We'll replay the try.
So they'll try it again. Not a happy sideline over there for the Lions.
Well, whether it's the right call or the wrong call, it's never a happy sideline for somebody that's on the wrong end of that score.
Obviously not about the distance here, but it will move it from the 3-yard line where the try is set, and they'll move that to the 1.5. And they'll go left hash on this time. Again, on the conversions, you get to choose which side of the field you want to go on. And so Nazareth elects to go to the left side.
And again,
and this changes the playbook a little bit.
It certainly does. And again, they're in man coverage, so you can do a lot of different things.
Jet sweep. Taylor tries to cut back in. Can he reach towards the goal line? And yes, he did get there. Justin Taylor, the conversion.
Great effort. Great effort.
Nazareth makes it a 7-point lead. Back and forth we go. We've had 4 scores in the last 4 minutes.
This is a great effort right here. You can see he's got people out in front of him. But you can see Peoria gets to the football. But this is just an outstanding effort right there to turn it up and get it in by about a yard.
Eerily similar to the reach of Julian Love in 2014 with the go-ahead touchdown for Nazareth in that title game against Lamont in the 6A game. Same sort of reach across the line. Can I get there? Yes. And so Nazareth with a 7-point lead now with 4 minutes even. Justin Taylor's done a lot of work.
Well, we're looking at a potential record again in the playoffs here in the state championship game. And we've had a lot of them this weekend.
We certainly have.
But Washington has got 4 touchdowns already today. And the record in the 5A is 6. So we're looking at a potential touchdown record being broken here. And, of course, the guy we talked about yesterday from Joliet Catholic, Ty Isaac.
That's right.
In 2011 had 6 touchdowns against Montini. So that was a great game in itself and a great individual effort. But we're looking at a potential record setter right here with Mr. Washington from Peoria.
That was about a 7-hour football game, if I recall.
It was. You're right.
That one took a while. 70-45 will do that to you. So let's see how this kick return will go for the Lions.
Oh.
Stopped immediately at the 25. So Malachi Washington comes back to work. Our Country Financial Player of the Game. Find out why over 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com for more info. Bigger, faster, stronger as the game goes on.
A real workhorse right there. 5 touchdowns. That's amazing in a state championship game. And we've still got a whole quarter left to go.
And a lot more. Malachi again to work. He'll get 4. And closing in on 200 yards on the day. There's over 30 attempts on the ground. And we saw a 40-plus attempt game yesterday. That one is an open look for TQ Webb. Can he spin out of the tackle? Penley will drag him down at the 40. And a big chunk of yardage, at least 20. 31 on that.
Play action, and that's what it did right there. A little play action fake, and he got the inside position on a little post route. A good delivery of the football, and that's exactly what they did not really do in the first half, is show a little balance with the passing game.
16 first downs each way. Washington breaks free of a blocker. He'll try and get out of a shoestring tackle. He'll pick up another first down before Penley finally brings him down. We saw Blake Reganold for Tri-Valley carry it 42, 43 times, but by the end of that one, you can see he struggled physically with that one. You don't see any sign of slowdown here. Washington again, blockers in front. He'll pick up on 5, and he's just shy of 200 on the day.
This has been really a combination of, to me, of really interesting line play, both offensively and defensively. We're going to have a substitution penalty here.
And it comes from the near side. It was Jimmy Penley trying to run off the field as fast as he could. And that's the second substitution penalty that we've seen today from Nazareth.
And, of course, you could say, well, they're a young, immature team. This is their 14th game.
We have a dead ball.
So substitution issues shouldn't be a problem.
Against the defense.
Al McGuire said once, the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. But you haven't had that feeling that there's there's a level of inexperience at this point. This is just normal mistake football.
You're exactly right. That's a good point, Matt. I mean, these kids do not play like they're freshmen and sophomores. Now, granted, they're not all freshmen and sophomores on this team, but a majority of the starters for Nazareth are. So they're going to be coming back here for quite a while. Well, don't make that assumption, but you know, they're have become a very mature team for their young age.
You never do that in the transfer era for sure.
Believe me, I'm aware of that.
But if it holds together, they're going to be a scary bunch for the next 4 years. Pistol set, power right. They have not been shut down in the red zone yet, and Washington gets shut down there right at the 20. So a loss of 2. 2.5 to go in this third quarter.
Again, we got substitutions here. Man coverage by Nazareth.
To the right side, it's Washington again. He's up to 36 carries, 192 yards. It's a check the record book moment at this point. And a big third down here. There's no kicking game for Peoria. Make no mistake about it. They don't even hide it. So it's 2-down territory. You look across the way, everyone from Nazareth standing in the stands. 3rd and 8. Just to throw. Got a man open, caught by Webb, and the first down. No, they say incomplete. It hit the ground. It hit the ground, and that will bring up 4th down.
That was pretty good execution by the quarterback getting out here. You could see he throws off balance, but delivers a pretty good football right there.
Right through his hands.
That's a ball you got to catch, but you know what? We can't use that term in high school football. You might say that on Sundays and to the college kids, but high school kids, you can't just take that for granted.
Next play, right? Next play.
Yep.
4th down and 8. And it's a big one, too. They've got to get to the 8-yard line. Man in motion, that's Hearn. They go tight. Pressure coming, roll out, and it's the fullback was open. Newly Wholesome was there, but just out of his reach, and a turnover on downs. Nazareth will take over. The second time they've gotten a stop on 4th down.
This is just a well-designed play right here. I mean, Nazareth was really out of position with the motion. They were running man, and the split end that was on this side, or excuse me, the flanker went in motion. The corner went with him, and the fullback just slid out into the flat. Nobody picked him up. The linebacker stayed home, worried about Washington, and he was wide open, and ball's just overthrown.
Tim Thornton has gone for it twice on 4th down. The first time was at his own 32-yard line, didn't get it. This time it's the first time they haven't finished in the red zone. So Nazareth, ball on the ground. Malachuk ends up with it. And that's the danger of RPO, right there. Nazareth survives that. Watch again.
This is one of the issues, too.
It's a high snap.
It's a high snap, but, you know, you cannot afford to lose a play, to physically lose a play that you're not running downfield towards the line of scrimmage.
And so this turns into a drive where you just want to get out of here if you can at the worst. Malachuk will throw. That broken up nicely. And that was a great defensive play. Ronnie Walker, the senior, was able to break that up. Perfect positioning.
It's always a danger when you're down here to throw the ball out in the flat unless somebody's wide open, because if there's a pick, they can just trot into the end zone.
3rd down and 16 coming up. The Roadrunners need to get out to the 26-yard line.
And this defense of Peoria runs, they basically defy you to throw the football because of how tight they play coverage. And right now, there's a man wide open at the top of the screen. Oh, there he goes.
And Nazareth's going to take their first timeout of the second half. 3rd down and 15 coming up here. Tim Rackey wants to talk about the play call. Time now for the Menards play of the game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. It has been the quarterback play of Logan Malachuk. Pitch and catch. See Pentley coming down with that big one for about 40 yards, and the freshman McLean in the end zone with that touchdown catch. Malachuk on the 2-point conversion here to Hayes. And then with his feet, 2 touchdowns on the ground for Malachuk. And he has looked more like a senior than a sophomore today.
He sure has. And of course, he didn't start until halfway through last year, but last year was his freshman year. And so he's a sophomore this year with game experience, obviously. He's got game experience of 13 games coming into this and a handful last year, so he has a little maturity to go along with that sophomore year.
Malachuk bobbled the snap, throws over the middle.
What a catch.
What a third down pickup. Gabe Kaminsky, who's a little banged up, he says he's okay. And that's a D lineman running down the field, making that for 19 yards.
And this probably gives you an idea of why Big Ten teams are offering him, because he's such a great athlete. I mean, he could turn in to be a tight end, even though they play him defensively right now. He's got so many different qualities to his game. He's only a sophomore, 6'3", 220. He's going to get bigger, no doubt about it. Looks like he's a little banged up there.
He's going to get a little extra rest here with the time winding down. 4 fingers go up everywhere. We head to the fourth quarter. Nazareth, the Roadrunners, looking for another title. They won it in 14, 15, and 18. Can they do it again? This would be quite the finish. Looking forward to a good one coming up here in Champaign when we come back. Fourth quarter next. We start the fourth quarter with Nazareth heading in with a 7-point lead on the Peoria Lions. Matt Rodewald, Jack McInerney with you here in Champaign at Memorial Stadium. Time for the defensive play of the game, and it's brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. How about a one-handed interception?
Again, I say it's the gloves. But just great athleticism right there and concentration. You know, it's one thing to make an interception when you're in the open field. It's another thing to make the interception on the dead run with somebody right on you, with another body right against you. That's just a great interception right there.
First play of the fourth on first down. And we've seen a lot of Justin Taylor. That time it's Enriquez.
And that's one of the first times that they've run inside the tackles. And I think that they're doing that intentionally because those linebackers starting to slide to the outside to stop those jet sweeps that have been so very effective for Nazareth.
Jimmy Penley banged up a little bit. You see Tim Rackey out there with his 6-foot sophomore, and the way he's holding his arms coming off the field tells me that we will not see him again. Unless kind of his back was to us. If he's dealing with an arm issue or if he's, we'll see. Maybe we'll see him again. Never mind. Seemed to kind of brighten up a little bit once he got on the sideline. So they can't afford not to have him out on the field.
That's just my point, was the same thing. I'm sure there's a lot of Nazareth fans are hoping he gets out there real quickly. Could have been just a quick stinger.
Split down to the near side. Enriquez again, and nowhere to go that time. They tried to utilize Taylor in different spots. Give Enriquez a couple of carries, but now you're looking at 3rd down and 8.
They were so effective running outside for such a long time that I think Peoria was starting to take that away, so they wanted to run inside and run some traps, which they just tried to do, but not for much of a gain.
So they go big package here with Kaminsky, who was coming on. Now he's coming off. 3rd down and 8. Opening minute of the 4th quarter. Enriquez in the backfield again. Malachuk. Lots of time scrambling. Pressure finally comes and he has to go down. This sack from Amari Smith, the junior linebacker, coming in with a sack. A loss of 16, a killer for Nazareth.
Boy, that's a big, big mistake right there. Now, early on, he would be flushed and he'd have the wherewithal to throw the ball out of bounds. But right here, he just had nowhere to go and almost couldn't throw it at all because wherever they were right on his shoulders. But boy, what a big sack that is.
Brendan Flanagan was engaged in the block with Smith. Boy, that's a lot to ask for to hold on that long. 3rd punt of the day for Nazareth. It'll be Hayes. A low line drive. It's over the head of coverage in a beautiful bounce. It will be picked up. That's Odom at the 25. Escapes a tackle, slips to the outside of another one, and makes a decent return to the 35-yard line. And that was actually Rutherford on the return.
That was really a good punt for the situation that they were in.
So 9:46 to go. Peoria, plenty of time to do anything. Tim Rackey's defense trying to adjust to this Peoria offense that's now gotten their rhythm a little bit, working both inside, outside, on the edge, throwing, and Malachi Washington a steady diet of carries.
Well, they're keeping Nazareth off balance. There's no doubt about that.
196 on the ground for Malachi Washington. All-State running back gets it again. And he'll get it right there as he gets across the 40. And that is his 39th carry of the day.
And on 1st down, what a big gainer to get 8 yards on 1st down.
Again to Washington. Gets to the outside. Penley back in there making the stop. And 8 more yards.
There's a touchdown saving tackle right there in the open field.
They'll flip the formation. Ricky Hearn on the left. Pistol left this time. Washington to the left side. Through a hole and gets to the outside. Foot race to the end zone. Washington to the pylon. Stepped out at the 2. 48-yard pickup for Malachi Washington. Over 250 yards on the ground for the day.
Again, a good blocking down right here. Takes the defenders away. He breaks it to the outside. Switches hands with the ball, which is very effective, keeping it away from the inside defenders. And I don't know how he can run that far after being a workhorse going down the field.
Washington again to the goal line. He reaches across, and they'll mark it short. They say his knee was down before he reached to the goal line.
Going for a record-setting touchdown. Record-tying touchdown, I believe. Again, you can see right here, Matt, that offensive line is really not driving the Nazareth kids back into the end zone.
Washington at the goal line again. Credit Braden Ferguson on the stop, along with Brady Gorman. They're holding here. 3rd down and goal at the 1.
Brady Gorman's 170 pounds going up against 300-pounder.
Urgency from the Nazareth sideline. A 7-point lead. They're trying to hang on here with 8 minutes to go. They go left side now. Washington again. They signal touchdown. Late signal on the left side, but the touchdown for Malachi Washington, his 5th of the day. Delta Dental 4th quarter touchdown. You can trust the tooth to protect your smile. Learn more at deltadentalil.com. Malachi Washington punched his way in, and everyone kind of looked around. Did he get in? Did he get in? And he did. And they'll go for 2. Watch it one more time. You can see there's enough. They were really close. Washington on the conversion. He'll get in here. And Peoria takes the lead. 2-point score for the Lions. Malachi Washington doing it all for the Lions. And the maroon and black take charge. A 1-point lead. Final 8 minutes of this one from Champaign.
There are more than 20,000 ways to experience Illinois State.
Hey, what's up? You ready to go to class?
What kind of Redbird will you be? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
Malachi Washington, you see 42 carries, 261 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The rushing attempts, now a new Class 5A record, snapping the mark set by Nick Iannatone, the Joliet Catholic product against Montini in 2018. He had 40 carries, 318 yards. We're erasing names out of the record book all weekend. Onside kick, loose for a moment, but it sure looks like Nazareth will have it on the other side of midfield. Kind of amused at how we're just downplaying on, oh, look, it's another onside kick. This is why they do it. They lull you to sleep with this stuff. They'll have it at the 48. Here's the day for us. Prairie Ridge and East St. Louis, approximately 1 o'clock. At this pace, that will not happen, so a little past 1 o'clock. Mount Carmel and Batavia, our 7A title game coming up at 4 o'clock, and our Class 8A championship will feature Lincoln Way East, the undefeated Griffins, who just continue to roll on with undefeated season after undefeated season. They'll take on Loyola Academy for our championship game and our nightcap here on the IHSA television network. Nazareth back to work now. Justin Taylor back in the backfield. He'll pick up about 5 yards.
You know, Matt, you mentioned Lincoln Way East. They flew under the radar all year long because of Mount Carmel and Loyola were ranked number 1 and 2 all through the year until the regular season. And then they came down to the 9th game of the regular season. They both went in that game undefeated, and Mount Carmel beat Loyola. But Lincoln Way East, they just kind of were ranked number 3 the whole time, and people kind of forgot about them.
Rob Zvonard does such a great job with that program and consistently continues to win year after year after year. 9-0 season just about every time out.
And they were the first and only team ever to bring a team into the playoff series as juniors when the school first opened.
Mm-hmm.
They got to the playoffs their very first year and have been in the playoffs every year since.
You kind of knew then that they're going to be a problem for a lot of people to deal with at the state level. You get a look at Luke O'Gorman here, the 5'9 junior, dealing with that leg injury, wincing a little bit. And everyone has fallen silent here at Memorial Stadium. Nazareth has gone back and forth with Peoria for a stretch. We had four touchdowns back and forth in a matter of 4 minutes. Slowed down a little bit with Peoria getting stopped on downs in the red zone. But it's Peoria now with that 1-point lead as we are midway through the fourth quarter. 2-point conversions the entire day for the Lions. Malachuk will throw. Left side, open man, it's Penley. Caught, gets out of a tackle and slips inside the 25-yard line. His fourth catch of the day, and Nazareth has taken full advantage, Jack, of the field position they've been given all afternoon.
And I'm really impressed with how well Malachuk throws the football going to his left. It's a tough throw for a right-handed quarterback. You can see right here, he really doesn't get his body turned and his shoulders turned up front, but his arm is strong enough to deliver the football downfield. And, of course, they're getting man coverage, which really helps as far as running good routes.
Penley's set up in the slot with Malachuk, the high snap, and it's stopped immediately. Not sure that play was going to work regardless, but looked dangerous.
Taywon Smith right there coming up with big penetration across the line of scrimmage, and that's really a backbreaker on first down to have that happen when you're in good field position like Nazareth is right now.
It's a loss of 5. You saw the high snap force Taylor to have to kind of stop on his run. I don't know, there's enough penetration where that may not have worked regardless. We're underneath 7 minutes now. Taylor on the day, closing in on 100 yards on the ground. And Tim Rackey and company want to talk about it. 2nd down and 15 coming up. They need to be in position to at least try for 3. And we'll take a timeout. See how it goes when we come back. Nazareth with the ball in striking distance, down 1 in Champaign.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Country Financial, proud partner of the IHSA, and by LaUna. Start your career in construction at LaUnaCareers.org.
We had a great day of football yesterday. Our scores from our 1A through 4A championship games. We had a fabulous finish in Class 2A. Our 3A and 4A games saw some dominance, including a 4A game with Sacred Heart Griffin and the Cyclones ending the career of Ken Leonard in prime fashion. Ken Leonard, of course, a lot of cameras on him. Oh, we got to have the Gatorade shower. Mandatory to win a state championship at 14-0, and obviously an emotional moment for the Leonard family, for the Sacred Heart Griffin coaching staff. we had talked about on the broadcast. He'd coached a lot of the players that are now his coaches, and a lot of coaches and a lot of players and their sons. And so it's a big, happy family in Springfield.
Well, he goes out with a state championship on his last game, which is amazing, winning as coach in the state of Illinois and several state championships.
419 victories in his career. Taylor open, and it's caught, and he reaches for the goal line short by a yard. Nazareth with the big pickup. First down and 28 yards for Taylor. How about that throw from Logan Malachuk?
Again, going to his right now, but throwing on the run. And part of that, though, is he's delivering the football and he's saying, okay, you're an athlete, go up and get it. And the thing is, his athletes do go up and get it.
Pressure from the backside. Boy, they've moved the pocket around for him, too. He is very comfortable throwing on the run. And they have been perfect in the red zone so far today. Justin Taylor and company trying to punch it in. They go to the big man, the up front man, and he's short by about a yard. They call it in. Touchdown. Touchdown for Brendan Flanagan, who barrels his way across the goal line for the score. And it's a Delta Dental fourth quarter touchdown. You can trust the tooth to protect your smile. Learn more at deltadentalil.com. I did not think he got there. We'll watch it again.
You can see the surge right here. A good job by Peoria. Everything's at the line of scrimmage right here.
Wow, I don't think he was anywhere close.
Well, in games like this, one of the worst things you can have is that big scoreboard that shows the replays.
Everyone's reacting to it right now. They're saying the same thing you are. And so, 2-point conversion. It was the nearsighted official who signaled it. 2-point conversion coming. Malachuk rolls right, throws, caught. Penley for the 2-point conversion. And the lead back to 7 for Nazareth. Back and forth we go.
What great timing routes right there. Those are routes that are worked on all summer long. You can see on the run, just one receiver. It's just a quick out cut. He tries to take the defender back a couple steps, which gets the defender to backpedal, and then he just makes his break to the outside. The ball is right on the money as he makes his cut.
6:19 to go. Let's watch the touchdown again.
Good
Sometimes
surge by the
find people.
It is, and there's a good surge by that offensive line.
Right there. Right there is probably where he got in. And that was a tight shot. And still, it could have been academic for all we know. Again, that was second down.
I never second guess the officials ever since I've been in broadcasting. But I'll say this, when I was coaching, I had a few misgivings here and there.
May have had a conversation or two.
And they were usually right, but it was just the fact that I was just too bullheaded to think that they were right.
6 of 9 for Malachuk in the air, 120 yards and a half. This is why I stick to basketball officiating myself as a 12-year official. I don't try to football. I don't want any part of that conversation. I'll leave it to you. So Peoria will get it back. Hayes on the kickoff, end over end, taken at the 6-yard line. It's Hearn, already with one big return.
Another one.
Getting loose down the sideline.
Oh, my.
One man to beat. Tight ropes the sideline inside the red zone and out at the 16-yard line.
Special teams have killed Nazareth. Their kickoff special teams have absolutely killed them.
78 yards on the return to go with a 73-yarder in the first half, and he got loose.
Well, you can see a couple of times right here that he should have been tackled. The outside man did his job to turn him up inside, but he has just got great speed. And
Hayes barely got a hand on him to get him out. Fabulous field position for the Lions with 6:04 to go. We're a long way from being done. Malachi Washington gets maybe a yard, but not much. Penetration from Ferguson. Braden was able to get in there for the tackle. overall, this Nazareth defensive line has been very good today. A lot better in the first half. Peoria's made some adjustments to balance things out.
No, I agree 100%. They've really had a nice defensive game plan.
Back to Washington. Flags come out. And an injured Lion as well. See the fullback. Landon Newley Wholesome, the captain, also.
You can have a great game plan as a coach, but it comes down to your players to do the execution of that game plan. And so far, Nazareth, the coaches had a great game plan, and the kids are doing a nice job of executing it. But you just can't get around outstanding athletes like Peoria has.
See what the infraction is.
They're in the down. We had a legal block by the defense. Taking out the lead blocker.
I did not see that.
Well, probably what happened here is sometimes, at least before, it used to be defensive linemen were taught if you're getting blown off the ball or there's a double team, get low sometimes, and eventually you end up getting down by your knees, and it cuts the offensive lineman where they can't push you off the line of scrimmage, and I think that's probably what happened there.
Obviously, they took that out for safety purposes.
Yes.
You still don't really see that called very much.
Usually, if you do see it, it's on the offense.
It's on the offensive side,
because of a quick slant pass where they want to get the hands down of that defensive lineman.
That's going to be half the distance, and it should be an automatic first down. Just keeping an eye on the chains on the far side to see how they react. It is not an automatic first down. So that means 2nd down and 1.
Second down.
No lead back. Washington by himself in the pistol. He'll take it. Looking for a running lane. Looking towards the end zone and shy by about a yard. Malachi Washington, his 44th carry of the day. Already 5 touchdowns on the afternoon. And looking for more to try and even things up and quite possibly take the lead here in Champaign in the 4th quarter of the state championship game. Back to Washington. Goal line. Touchdown. Peoria. Lions get 6. And Malachi Washington with touchdown number 6. It's a Delta Dental 4th quarter touchdown. You can trust the tooth to protect your smile. Learn more at deltadentalil.com.
What a performance right here. You can see a good job of blocking down, and this is basically their goal line play. Those big linemen block down, and then they get their good-sized fullback, who's 230 pounds, Newly Wholesome, to kick out, and then Washington just runs up inside him.
Here's your play of the game. Down by 1. Peoria will go for 2 to try and take the lead with 5 minutes and change to go. Washington back again to work.
No.
Stop before the goal line. It is no good.
Ooh.
The conversion no good. Braden Ferguson has been there all day long, and he comes up big again.
Now this is what's going to be interesting right here. You got 5 minutes left, which is a lot of time as fast as Peoria can score. But Peoria's going to onside kick again. There's a good job right here of penetration by that and by that defensive line. Yeah,
it was Ferguson, the 6 foot, 185-pound senior, coming right through. Number 45 right there, just enough, and making sure nobody got anywhere else. Finn O'Meara, the 6 foot senior linebacker, coming in with a big stop as well.
Now this is where I think, Matt, this onside kick and situations like this, we're down to 5 minutes, giving Nazareth such great field position can come back to haunt you. And obviously they're not going to change.
Yes and no. Let me give you an argument. Because if Nazareth takes a short field, goes down and scores, it's still a 1 possession game more than likely, unless they go for 2. And the likelihood of that, well.
But Nazareth is not a rush team like Peoria. They'll go down the field and they'll take their time, and they could take half the field in 5 minutes.
So everybody is up for the onside kick. There's nobody back behind the 38-yard line. It is loose. It's picked up. And an easy recovery for Jaden Fauski, the sophomore baseball player who turns that basically into a ground ball to short.
First down will be crucial here. on any of this possession here, if they're keeping a drive going, first down. Because if they get 4 or 5 yards on first down, then they got some other things they can do on second and third. And it's not always necessarily to rush things, but it's to keep the continuity going. They cannot afford to have a loss on first down because they really don't want to throw the ball too early.
It's as full of building as we've seen all day, as a lot of PR and East St. Louis fans are waiting for their game, but they'll get a good finish here. Justin Taylor looking to turn the corner. He'll get to the line of scrimmage and no further. Stopped on the play. Nizer Chambers, the 5'8" senior, with the stop, maybe a yard. Clock runs.
That was great pursuit by Peoria, but of course they've seen that play all game long, and it's been very effective for the most part against Peoria. But in this particular case, they had good pursuit. They just cannot afford to allow them to get to the edge where he can turn it upfield.
One receiver, check it, 2 receivers each side. It's McLean in the backfield with Malachuk. He'll throw, and it is caught. Oh! Taylor with the catch, gets to the sideline and gets inside the 35. That was nearly a pick six the other way.
And I just, it's amazing how close that play was to a pick. I mean, right there, it just came down to either a pick or a catch, and it could have been the state championship right there.
Justin Taylor's hurt, and he is wincing. And let's watch it again. Look
this
how
is
close
so
this is.
Close. So close to going in either direction for either team. And that could be the play of the game right there.
And
that could be a cramp.
I was just going to say, he's reaching in that's in the neighborhood of cramps.
I've had those upstairs here standing around watching these exciting games.
You need to be aware of better shoes. That's the issue.
Well, I got a dress.
As you were a coach, let's go down this road here. What was your cramp method? Was bananas, right? You got to have the banana. Obviously,
water.
Gatorade, water.
Water, lots of water.
Pickle juice?
No.
No?
Good grief.
I've seen it done.
By who?
Well,
hopefully nobody I know.
No, but coach colleagues that I know.
Pickle juice.
Well, it's an acquired taste, I would imagine.
I would imagine.
141 total yards for Justin Taylor. He's going to have to come out. Let's see how close this pick six nearly was.
And I mean, years from now, right here, if he picks it, he's gone. Maybe Peoria wins the state championship. He doesn't pick it. He picks a big first down right here. Keeps the drive alive that might lead to a state championship for Nazareth. Everything seemed to be could revolve on that one play.
Here's the other factor with cramps. You know one thing. Once you have them, they don't go away.
Right.
And so we'll see how effective he is when he does come back, and no doubt we'll see him again. Like the official there, giving the old fist bump. So it's a fresh set of downs, and they've got plenty of weapons. And they have a lead. Can they protect it with 4 minutes and change left?
And you're watching right now. They're not rushing. You see how they're looking at the clock? The center doesn't even go down in the ball until there's like 7 seconds left.
Enriquez gets loose to the right side. Enriquez near the first down marker. And they needed that from Enriquez. Ethan Enriquez with a big gainer. That makes it very different. It's 2nd and 1 with Taylor out.
This is a good job right here. It's just a counter action. They don't show him the jet sweep. They just bring him back the wing off a counter and do a nice job of going back in a misdirection look. But when they come up to the ball here, Nazareth, watch the center. He's also watching the clock.
14 on the play clock right now. They'll have to snap it at 3:18 at the worst. They're going to go now. Enriquez immediately hit.
Close.
And it's right at the stick. And what? Not sure what the groans from the crowd was for, but that was a tough hit. It got a spot right at the stick. Maybe it was where the spot was. Watch it again.
I think it was a late hit on the quarterback they were expecting, but that's not. Whenever a quarterback runs the option, he can be hit.
They did call a personal foul on that. The flag came in pretty late. It's the idea of a defenseless player, too.
Exactly.
Is that defining a defenseless player?
Well, if he's
on
got
that RPO,
if he's got your back, if he's got his back turned to you, that's defenseless. Now, if he was facing him, no, it wouldn't be, because he's still an active player as far as you can see right there. Well, he's facing him.
Yeah, but it's pretty clear he doesn't have the ball either.
Exactly.
And you add going up high, just adds to it. So first down, and a big one too with 3:09 to go. And the play clock has 25 seconds still. They can wait a long time. And they're going to do just that.
This is where those linemen get cramps being in that stance.
This is hard to do.
Sure is.
12 in the play clock. And that clock, with the way Peoria plays, is more valuable than anything.
Great discipline by that offensive line.
Enriquez, the handoff, turns the corner at the 6 and goes out of bounds. It's the one thing you didn't want to do if you're a Nazareth fan.
And Coach Racky is letting them know that right now. Stay in bounds. That was really a nice play, but a good job. Watch number 52 right there, Sam Steck. He's 250 pounds, but yet he gets out in front of that running back and does a nice job of downfield blocking. But Coach Racky is trying to remind these kids, you know, we don't, if anything, go down in bounds, even if you have to come up short of getting in there.
Second down and 4. They need to get to the 2. Here's Enriquez again. Spins out of a tackle, and a flag comes in late. And I don't know.
It's going to be against Peoria.
Roadrunners feeling confident about this call.
What a time to have penalties.
Man.
We talk about when they occur and where they occur.
We have no flag on the down. Third down.
And they wave off the flag.
Big relief to Peoria, but a disappointment for the Nazareth fans.
That keeps the clock running here, by the way, as soon as they set it.
See, they don't want a penalty here for personnel changes, and they've had this issue twice or 3 times today.
They don't have to snap it until the 2-minute mark. On third down and 4. If you're Nazareth, you don't want to have to make a decision here on fourth down. It's a chip shot field goal they can make. Malachuk in shotgun with McLean to his right. Man in motion is Hayes. Malachuk escapes the rush. McLean the catch. It's short. And a timeout called with 1:59.
That play has been so effective right now. He sprints out. You see the back just racing ahead of him, getting in the flat. And all he's trying to do is outrun the linebacker. He's not trying to outrun any defensive back that's in front of him. The linebacker is assigned to that halfback. And a combination of that quarterback sprinting out gives him the option to either throw that ball in the flat or turn it up and run. So that's a good play call down in the red zone. You've got an athletic quarterback.
McLean has scored on that in the first quarter, and that play has gotten less and less effective as they've made more and more adjustments to it. When we come out of this timeout, it will be 4th down and 2. Are you thinking field goal here to force the touchdown? It's not going to matter either way. Peoria is not going to kick.
Well, one of the things you got to think about is this. I mean, I don't know how accurate, how much confidence he has in his kicker. But the other part of it is, if you hold him right here anyway, you go for it on 4th down, they're going to have 98 yards to go to score. So it's kind of a catch-22, and I'm glad that I'm up here not making that decision, and Tim Racky's down there making the decision, and he's done it very effectively for many, many years.
Zach Hayes is the kicker, but he is split out left, which means they are going to go for it on 4th down and 3. Here's your game for Nazareth if they can put it away. Malachuk, man in motion, rolls to his right, throws to the end zone, broken up. He looked for Justin Taylor, who is back in the game, but Peoria holds, and they'll get it with 96 yards to go and 1:55 remaining.
Well, maybe that was his his idea of having them the confidence in this defense that he's going to hold them. But throughout this entire game, we've seen that Peoria is a big play team. He had really top of your screen, really nowhere to go. The defender did a nice job over the top coverage and then underneath by the linebacker. Kind of surprised maybe that they didn't run the ball, but they've got confidence in their passing game.
Rolling strong side but short side of the field.
Yes.
Limits your playbook a little
sure
bit.
Does.
And so back to work for Tino Gist. And Malachi Washington, just by the way, 5 of 12 in the air. We're going to see a lot of Washington, but how much with how much time? That carry for a yard. Clock runs and 2 timeouts for Peoria. Tempo will pick up.
They're going to have to throw the ball in here. Now you can see that the coverage for Nazareth has loosened up a little bit. They're going to keep things under.
Just to throw, he'll roll. Deep throw down the right side and getting loose. Nope, pass interference.
Now that could be offensive pass interference. It could be offensive pass interference.
Keep in mind, this is not a spot foul. This is a 15-yard penalty, which actually saves them about 10 yards if that's on Nazareth. And now the discussion.
Interesting call here. I'm thinking it very well could be offensive pass interference.
They're in the down. We have pass interference against the defense.
Ooh, okay.
You saw Hearn or Webb, one of the two, trying to slice their way through a defender, and they couldn't quite get there and held up as a result. Watch it again. We'll see if we can see it on this wide angle right here. Yep, contact from Penley trying to hold on to Hearn, but again, spot foul. That contact happened at the 30. It moves it back to the 21-yard line because it's only 15 yards. Washington back to work. Maybe a yard or two. And they hold him down a little extra longer. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get up. Clock's running.
Now here's the other thing too. They've been giving it to Washington so many times. Don't be surprised if you see a quarterback bootleg here after the fake there, because the weak side is really coming flat down on Washington.
That clock keeps running. Just to throw, has a man intercepted.
He got it. He got it. Wow.
Zach Hayes, and that might do it.
Wow. Cinderella has gotten on her carriage and is about to ride into the stands with a trophy.
There have only been 4 teams in Illinois history with 4 losses to win a state championship, and Nazareth is on the verge of number 5.
They've just done a great job all day long against an outstanding Peoria team, but I got to give a lot of credit to Tim Rackey and these kids, a very young team that have done so well. I mean, we talked about it in the open. Those games that really helped them was those early losses to all those playoff teams. That competition made a big difference in maturing them as a team.
2 timeouts now for Peoria to work with. Justin Taylor will go back to work, and they'll use one right here. 54 seconds to go. Zach Hayes, he's in the captain's chair, but he's in the catbird seat now after this interception. Cutting through the route. And I believe Peoria's first turnover of the day.
Really interesting. You saw the safety about to come over the top to help him off. It was almost double coverage, but the ball was just underthrown a tad. But he was with him step for step. Just an outstanding defensive job.
Nazareth, state champs in 2014 and in 2015, in 2018 as well. And for Tim Rackey to win 4 straight at Driscoll. We asked him earlier in the week, did you ever think when you left there to go to Nazareth that you'd see the kind of success you did there, which is unprecedented? And you don't know where the road will lead you, but it took him a while to lead him back to this. He lost 13 games in 7 full seasons in Driscoll, and he ended up losing 12 in his first 2 years at Nazareth. Lost 4 this year. but a first down away from winning another state championship and bringing it back to LaGrange Park.
Well, I would have thought for sure, when people talk about the underdog, only in high school football and these high school championships games, you see things like this, where people look at a record and say, oh, they really don't have a chance. But that's not the case. In many cases, you got to look at the schedule. Who did they compete against?
Let's go downstairs and check in with Darius.
Yeah, you guys talked about that 2-4 start that Nazareth Academy had, and Coach Ranke said it really just focused on his guys having a growth mindset. He was running out of motivational speeches, emptying the motivational toolbox to try to get the guys to turn things around, but they just focused on the good things that they had done in that 2-4 start, and you could see the execution and the body language improve each week, and now here they are 48 seconds away from a state championship.
You get to a point as a coach where you feel like you're out of ideas, and he was there, and the only thing you can do with young kids is just encourage them, and he did it and worked.
Well, it was probably like a father-son-daughter relationship from the standpoint of, you can't be negative with them. You got to be positive with them, and that's certainly what he has done with these kids, and they've followed that theme.
2-yard pickup, and that should do it. No timeouts left. No chance for Peoria to stop the clock. And they start to celebrate. There have been back and forth scoring opportunities for everybody. 6 touchdowns each way. Sometimes those conversions make the difference. Nazareth got theirs. Peoria did not. Kneel down time, and that will do it.
What an exciting
unreal
game.
road for the Roadrunners continues with another state championship. Nazareth wins it, knocking off Peoria in unlikely fashion. The Roadrunners win it. Nazareth state champions in 2022.
We talked about, we hope it's a good game. We hope that they can hang with them. And boy, they certainly did. This was just a great high school football game.
Tim Rackey wins his 8th state championship as a head coach. Nazareth winning another state championship, their 4th ever in school history, and just the 5th team in Illinois history to win a state championship with 4 losses on its slate. They started 2-4. They had to win every game after that to get here to win it. Talk about the 8-game winning streak when you absolutely needed it. And this feels pretty good. Did he avoid it?
He
nope,
doesn't
not
care.
That one.
Oh.
He thought he avoided the first one, but not the second one. There's always a second one, right?
There's always a backup. Fake them out. Great job by Tim Rackey and his staff and the players at Nazareth Academy.
We're going to have the celebration and the presentation of the trophy, but kudos to Nazareth. Keith Lukes and the defensive coordinating work on his part. Nazareth champions in 2022 in our 5A title game.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by ISU. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you predict the future? You create it. You build a foundation, pave a path forward, soak up the journey, and turn experiences into something life-changing. At Illinois State University, we deliver on what every college should promise you: the opportunity and tools to write your legacy every day. The rest is up to you. What will you create? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
For extraordinary moments in life, you should never have to settle for ordinary healthcare coverage. That's why at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we put the extra in our plans. Extra me time to catch up on your faves, with telehealth visits included. Extra peace of mind, knowing a nurse line is here 24/7 for those unexpected moments. Visit us at bcbsilextra.com to enroll. Because extraordinary coverage should come with extraordinary extras.
The incredible run for the Roadrunners finishes with a state championship in 2022. What a thriller we just finished watching, 45-44. Let's send it downstairs and check in with Darius Joshua.
Joined now by the winning coach from Nazareth Academy, Tim Rackey, coming up with another state championship here for your Roadrunners. After that 2-4 start, I'm sure you didn't expect to get to this point, but what does this feeling feel like?
It's incredible. It's euphoric. It's more how proud I am of this group because I've been blessed. I've had a lot of great football teams, and I don't like picking which one's the best or anything like that. But when it comes to resiliency, grit, and growth, this team, nobody touches them, and they're a very special group. Because when you're 2-4, nobody expects you to. They counted us out. We're almost out of the playoffs. And we had a safety in week 1. We won by a safety. And these kids never quit. They came to practice every day. We learned from our mistakes, from failure, which is what you should do in life. And I am incredibly blessed and humbled coaching this group. It was an incredible journey. And they gave a lot of joy to. We have a lot of heartache going on in our coaching staff. So. A lot of people hopefully watching this love my wife, my family, Gentiles, Bucaros, Rackies.
You talked about.
They know what I mean.
You said you never started a freshman quarterback in your time as a head coach. Now a sophomore, Logan Malachuk had a great game for you out there. What do you think about how he was able to handle things out there and run your offense?
Well, I'm not surprised because he's had that poise. And people forget that he's just a sophomore, and he had this poise last year. I never started a freshman quarterback in my career until last year, and he took the reins and never looked back. Those intangibles that you see great quarterbacks have, he already has them as a young age, so his growth is just beginning. I mean, once he matures, and grows, because he's only a sophomore, the better he's going to get. But his teammates love him. He's a tremendous leader as well.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach. 4th championship for you here at Nazareth Academy. Another championship for you. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you very much.
And now we'll bring on that quarterback, the player of the game here today for Nazareth Academy. Just a sophomore, but you had yourself a great game. 4 touchdowns overall, passing and rushing for you. What does this feel like to bring home a champion?
Oh, I mean, words can't describe it. I'm feeling so many emotions right now, and I'm just so happy for all of us, all my team, my coach, from what we've been through. I can't describe it right now. It's just an amazing feeling.
We mentioned it so many times, that 2-4 start that you all had. What can you say about these senior leaders that kind of got you guys together and made this run now to this point?
Oh yeah, I mean they're the best. I mean, they led us, and they've been there because we went 2-4 last year, and we all went through it. And they did a great job of just guiding us, keeping us composed, and yeah, they're amazing. I love them all.
Has it truly sunk in?
What was that?
Has it truly sunk in?
Not really, but I mean, this is just an amazing moment. I mean, it'll go on forever.
All right, thank you very much. Logan Malachuk, the winning quarterback for the Nazareth Academy football team, the champions here in Class 5A. We'll send back up to you guys in the booth.
He looks like a sophomore without his helmet on, but he's definitely not a sophomore for sure. Logan Malachuk generating a big game, tied at 8, tied at 22. We had 5 lead changes. This thing was every bit as entertaining as you've ever seen any game. As we watch the celebrations continue on the field. And we're going to hold it here for a second as we wait for the public address announcer. It'll be Jeff Fritzen with the presentation. We are looking at some of the Peoria kids, obviously exhausted and disappointed. And this is a hard moment for them as they've had such a great season that will end at 12-2.
Finishing the season as the Class 5A state champions, the Nazareth Academy Roadrunners. Individual awards are being presented to President Deborah Tracy, Principal Therese Hawkins, Athletic Director Mike Mano, Head Coach Tim Rackey, and the Roadrunners captains. And now we will present the championship trophy to the Nazareth Academy Roadrunners, who finished the season with a final record of 10 wins and 4 losses. Congratulations to the Roadrunners.
Eight teams work so hard to get to this moment, and when you're 2-4, you can't possibly dream of what this could feel like. But 8 weeks later, here they are, Nazareth, the Roadrunners, state champions in 2022. We will have more coming up. Stay with us.